Oh, hello. Hi, Internet. Hello. I almost forgot for a second that I'm the one that was talked first this one because I'm not used to DMing online yet. Hi. Welcome to the second episode of Soldiers of the Lich Queen. I am Sam, your DM, and let's see. Do we have any announcements for the channel for this week?
Not too many, not really, other than hi.
Okay.
We'll be back Wednesday with House from Ben Hill, finally, our Haunted House campaign at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Academy of Doors, our 2 p.m. game, our Planescape game is postponed until I can get more casts sorted out because everyone just sort of dropped out at like last minute. And Wednesdays, as always, our pirate campaign Beneath the Tide at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. I think we'll be adding a new cast member on Wednesday. I'm not sure yet. Depends on Garrett's brother's scheduling. And I am currently in between jobs, so if you want to help me out, that'd be really cool. You can do that on Patreon and on my Ko-fi, which I linked on Twitter earlier. If you want to follow me on Twitter and get those links, it's at JWROSSS. And if you're a Patreon supporter, I'll be giving you free dungeons and D&D adventures that I release on DM's Guild. I'll be charging about $15 for the dungeons and adventures, but if you're a $10 patron, you get those for free. So $5 off every month. So I'm gonna try releasing adventures and dungeons every month. Just bam, 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 bam. Anyways, that's all I have. So.
All right. Fantastic. Yeah, come also watch us on Wednesdays. Watch me blow up entire pirate ships with a single lightning bolt and ruin any chance of getting loot or prisoners or anything else. Okay. Did anybody else have any announcements, things they would like to plug before we get started? Fantastic. All right. So to recap a little bit, session, the party started off in their enclave, in their Gith enclave, where they've been training for the past 2 years. They've all of them are half Gith, having been raised somewhere else in the world and then brought back here to the enclave for their training, so they can be brought into Githyanki society as soldiers to prove the viability of introducing outside genetics into the Githyanki gene pool for increased diversity and lack of biodiversity, I guess would be the best way to put it. So they started off with their final exam at the end of during the last session, where they were brought into a clearing where they were told they had to take a temple from some mephits. They did fantastic at it, despite a couple slight snafus in the scouting section. They managed to pull through, and with only minor injuries, were able to clear the place out. When they came back, they were told that they had completely graduated from the program, basically. And after this, they were now free to leave the enclave, but it's in the middle of the jungle, so they would be needing to choose a location to kind of set up shop at to begin their final or their next step in sort of initiation, which is finding, hunting down, and killing their first illithid. They went into town to celebrate. On their way in, Hannibal encountered 2 other members of a squad that had done their graduation test earlier that day, and found out that a group of thugs in town had kidnapped or had attacked them and kidnapped 2 of their party members and were holding them hostage in a house with the intention of ransoming them to the Githyanki. The 2 that found Hannibal asked the party to intervene on their behalf and try and rescue them without telling anybody, so that way they could save face. However, the party said, no, we don't want to do that. And they went back and told Grantar, the one in charge of the program, and also their technically all of their fathers, that this was happening, this was the case, and he thanked them and sent a group of soldiers to go deal with it. And in thanking the party, he said he was between trying to figure out who was the most capable between them and the other group, and this clearly showed him who was. So the party would be granted the honor of accompanying him and some of the other higher-ups from the enclave to a Githyanki raid somewhere the next day. So all of you, after that, long day. Went back to your beds. Went back to sleep. I think Hannibal stayed up a little bit later and did some work. We will pick up again with the next morning. So the sun rises on your first day, technically free in the Enclave. You know that for the first time in 2 years, you could just walk straight out. Also, having been in a Githyanki airship recently, though, you've seen just the miles and miles and miles of jungle around you and are aware of just how far you would need to walk to get anywhere, and you're not entirely sure exactly where you are. Reggie managed to get some information from someone at a bar, a priestess, and found out that you were in where called the Land of the Sorcerer Kings. That is, as far as you know, on off the eastern edge of the map for the most part. So that is where we will begin. So this, aware that the raid is going to be leaving for the raid sometime in the afternoon. So for the most part, you all have the morning yourself. And now with town open to you, you are all able to do a bit more exploring, going around, shopping if you want to, that sort of thing. So where do we find each of you on this fine morning?
Okay. Hannibal would be in the workshop working on the things I talked to you about last week after the session. Taking his hammer and sort of tweaking it a little bit and carving, maybe carving some sigils into it, some glyphs maybe. And then he's taking an old bag that he had and he's carving things into the leather of this bag, slinging it over his shoulder, seeing if it works, just putting random stuff in it and noticing nothing really changes when he does that. And he's pretty happy about it. Takes his hammer, looks at it a little bit, and he looks over. How is Cohis's station looking?
It looks like after you left last night, she went ahead and put it all back together and stacked some things back up. It looks like she doesn't have any active projects going right now, but her general workstation is set back up.
Okay. Does there anything appear to be breakable on the desk?
Oh, definitely. She's got that kind of brass arm that hangs up that has the magnifying glass set up on it, as well as it depends on what you mean by breakable. There's a series of wooden little tiny wooden drawers that appear to have small bits and screws and nuts and bolts and things like that, little fine pieces needed for machinery.
All right. I'm going to take the hammer and test out what I just did to it over the night and everything. I'm going to flip it in my hand, Thor style, and then I'm going to pray that the enchantments I carved into it work, and I'm going to chuck it at the brass arm.
Okay.
As hard as I can, just...
Go ahead, give me a strength check. Let's see how much damage you do.
Ooh. 18 plus 2, so dirty 20.
All right, so you take this thing, you rear back, and you just huck it end over end, and it spins once and then just flies straight, hammerhead first, straight. It hits the brass arm and just clips it clean through, and just you see it hits hard enough that it doesn't bend over, the bottom gets knocked from underneath it and it goes spinning up into the air, and the hammer keeps going and just smashes into the set of drawers on the back of the desk, on the back of the workstation, and just you see here wood splinter and shatter as it just breaks to pieces, and small pieces, again, screws, ball bearings, nuts and bolts, these little tiny almost clockwork sized pieces of metal just go scattering across the desk and flying into the air. And then from inside where the back of the desk collapsed in on itself, do you do the next part?
Oh yeah.
All right. Inside of it, then the wood kind of caved inward, and then it sort of explodes outward again, sending more of it scattering onto the floor and spreading out over the floor of the workshop as the hammer flies back to your hand and you catch it.
Yeah. I'm impressed that my returning enchantment worked. Put the hammer in my belt loop. I jump in the air out of excitement, kick my heels together, and then I land. I look around to make sure nobody noticed me do that. The jumping and heel click.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pull out a piece of parchment, and I write a note. Cohis, sorry about the mess, and I place it on her desk and leave.
I'm picturing an entire piece of paper, but it's Just hiss. Sorry about the mess. Just filling the entire piece of paper.
Yep. And then just on her desk and I leave.
Actually, I don't know what would be fun. Which would be funnier, filling the entire piece of paper or writing it normal size in the corner and just leaving the rest of it blank?
Normal, rest of it blank.
Okay, so you're just very precise engineer's script. Just hiss, comma. Sorry about the mess. Blank rest of piece of paper placed probably like neatly. I'm guessing like in the middle, like
yeah.
Very neatly in the middle of the table, not just like tossed on top of it. All right. And then you leave. Okay. So you go out into the morning of the compound where you can see the usual sight that you've been seeing you've been seeing practically your entire life because you were raised here. The scattering of gray stone stair-step style pyramids with the larger one at the back. And then the airship landing ground off to one side and then the path that leads into town over to the other.
Okay. I'm going to head over towards town, I think.
Okay. So you're going to go walking off in the direction of town. While you're doing that, does anyone else have anything they're doing in particular on this fine morning?
Is there, I'm assuming there's some sort of training ground at the enclave?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's the whole middle area, because it's kind of, it's almost like there's two rows of the smaller pyramids and then the larger one at the back. The whole like central field area between all of them is pretty much just an open training ground for the most part.
Right. So I think Reggie's going to be up there practicing his swordsmanship with his rapier because he probably felt like he didn't do much aside from casting vicious mockery over and over again.
Okay, so you're out there, probably, yeah, because they would have very specific training setups for all you and your particular needs. So because the whole purpose of this is to train all of you, and when you spend 2 years and a large amount of resources training just 20 people, you can get very individualized. You actually would probably have like your own training setup for training your rapier specifically. Like you've got a straw dummy with like a bullseye painted on the chest, trying to practice your point control and making sure you hit in like the exact same spot each time. Maybe even a setup where you have like a metal arm that comes down and has some rings of various sizes from ribbons, and trying to like skewer through the rings as like rapidly as possible, trying to like, yeah, again, just get that precision down with it. Very much a lot to automated to practice like the stabbing aspect, not necessarily like the parrying, deflecting, and responding to an active combatant. If you want to do that, you need to ask for a partner.
I think, could Reggie ask for a partner?
You could, yeah. So you ask like one of there's people around there, like just the general Gith soldiers. There's your other members of your squad. There's members of the other squads.
What members of the other squads are?
Let's see who's awake at this point. Well, you don't see anyone from the squad you guys saw yesterday. Actually, if you were up earlier in the morning when you first started training and practicing, you probably would have seen a group of soldiers come back into the camp with a injured and beaten up looking Kurt and Muggs, kind of sheepishly walking along with them, looking like they're injured, but for the most part, their pride is the most damaged part of them. As they're reported back, and you would have seen them get brought up the steps into the main pyramid, and then like an hour later, brought back down, and then just go back into their normal sleeping quarters.
Okay.
Let's see. You see one of the few half humans around is up also training, as well as on the archery range nearby. You also see a Triton named Nalos, who, unlike Hannibal, did not get weirdly mutated and just kind of looks like a sea green Triton otherwise. And the human is named, he goes by Sir Round. You get the feeling that he was like, you were never quite clear on him. You think he might have been a noble, related to nobility, a knight, a wannabe knight. He insists everyone calls him Sir regardless.
Sir Round?
Sorry, yes? What?
His name is Sir Round?
R-A-U-N, Sir Round.
Okay. I'd like to walk up and say, yeah, Round, would you mind practicing firing with me?
Well, yes, I suppose a moving target would be more active than a dummy for both of us. Though how much you will move, and how much challenge you'll provide is up to question.
So, that's the test, of course.
Would you prefer edged weapon, live edges, or training blades?
Trading blades for now would be enough.
Yeah, at your skill level, I would quite think so. And then he walks over to a rack and picks up. He takes it's just a couple of basically wooden swords. He picks up a thinner, reedier one for you to mimic your rapier, and he has a thicker one to mimic his longsword. Normally he's walking around heavy armor, but he has that off to the side for his training right now. You can see around his neck as he's just wearing like his very nice but fairly simple linen shirt. He's got a holy symbol around his neck with 5 dragon heads of different colors pointing in different directions.
Well,
And then he's as he steps up, he like turns and faces you in a very practiced posture and like holds his long sword up in a salute before flicking it to his side and then getting into a ready position.
yeah, I don't know if you would be as professional as that. He's probably putting his rapier not limply, but not nearly as much as in like a professional position.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Go ahead and let's just do opposed attack rolls to see how this sparring goes.
Okay. That's 19 from me.
Wow, he got a nat 1. So
not so good now, are you?
Yeah, no, so he goes like he takes this very professional beginning, and then you come in and your morning of practice, like you can just see all kind of openings past his sword. Like he'll take a swing, you take a quick step back, and then you can just see a clean line straight into his chest, and you keep just poke, and you keep getting him like exactly right wherever you want to. He seems like he's barely providing a moving target to you at this point. And at the very end, you notice, if you would like, he extends too far to one side, and you can see his holy symbol hanging up, like kind of dangling down as he leans forward. And you notice the way it's formed, it's all the heads are kind of facing in, they're kind of like coming out from a center point and facing in a direction around almost like a wheel. And they kind of connect together, leaving a little gap between them, almost like a ring. And if you wanted to, you think you could actually probably get your training rapier through one of those loops and probably flick it, break the chain and flick it off of his neck if you really wanted to aggravate him.
Yeah, can I try that and try and catch it?
Sure. Give me a dexterity check to see how well you do with that.
Here we go. It's a 16.
Okay. So yeah, you lean for he gives you a giant opening for this. So you kind of reach forward, your blade fits right through under the red, right between the red and green dragon heads, and with just a flick of your wrist, you can feel the small chain it's on just snap, and then you flick it up into the air and catch it in one hand. Well, I clearly was just restraining myself and preparing for our own graduation exam that is later today.
Yeah. What's nice holy symbol you got here? What's it for?
It is for the Lady Tiamat, Queen of Dragons.
Do I know who Tiamat is?
Are you trained in religion?
I'm not proficient in it, no.
Then maybe not. It's one of those things you might have heard stories, but she is an evil god and not one that is regularly worshipped, so you wouldn't have heard terribly much. You would probably, over 2 years of living in this place with him, you would have been like heard a little bit about it from her, like about her from him. He kind of doesn't shut up about his paladin status.
Should I roll a religion check or no?
Sure, yeah, if you want to see how much you know.
That's a 4.
Yeah, you got nothing. Yeah, you're not quite sure.
Yes, Tiamat. Here you go. I pass him back his symbol.
Yeah, he takes it back and he looks at it down at like the broken link that he has on there. He says, well, I'm sure someone in the workshop can weld this back together. It just goes to show that it just takes one weak link to ruin the whole thing.
Fair enough.
Well,
I turn back to my training area and just keep practicing.
Good day to you, Reggie. He puts his training sword back and he heads back over in the direction of the workshop where Hannibal probably just exited out of, trying to see if there's anyone in there who can fix his chain for his holy symbol. No, like right after you left, so you're like heading towards town at this point.
All right. I just noticed my entire talking right there was muted on OBS, but whatever.
I'd like to seek out Gruntar if I could.
Okay. Yeah, he's up in the main pyramids. It's one of those things where you kind of have to like ask for an audience, but you can go ask for one. Yeah.
I want to go ask for an audience.
Okay, so you go up the stairs, and there's guards standing at the top.
I don't see the other group coming out by chance.
The point where you're at right now, no.
Too bad. Okay.
But the guards are waiting at the top and say, "What business do you have here?"
Hello. I was hoping I could ask Gruntar a few questions about the training exercise my squad had yesterday.
Stay here. We'll go inquire. And they turn around and go back inside, and a minute later, they come back out and say, "Come in. You will need to wait. He's in a meeting right now."
Of course.
And, you're brought inside the pyramid. You've only been in here a handful of times, but it is very nicely decorated. Lots of overstuffed cushions, both on the floor and on like soda-shaped things. What you do notice, and you probably have noticed a little bit every time you come in here, is that you don't, as you know, being with your background, you're not terribly versed in interior design, but it's just always struck you as if things don't quite fit together in here. Like there's a lot of not a lot of unity in like color and style and material. Like it looks very much hodgepodge, kind of, as best as you can identify it. But they basically bring you to a waiting room. Wait here, and he'll be out to see you soon. And there's a pair of doors that leads deeper into his chambers on the other side.
I will wait.
Okay, so you sit and wait for a little while. And eventually the doors open and you see some guards come out accompanying the other half of that team that Reggie saw go in, Kurt and Muggs, who come out looking severely chastised. And as they start heading down towards the temple, and they look over at you with they look over you, but then they kind of just avert their attention again, like unable to like make eye contact with you.
I'll just raise my voice just enough that they can hear me and hope that Gruntar doesn't and ask if they escort back to their lodgings.
You can see both of them, these two like very large men, just like pause and seethe a little bit, but then just kind of droop their shoulders and just shake their heads and let it go and just keep walking. And like the other, they're like flanked. They are being escorted. They are flanked by a couple extra soldiers. So like there's a moment of like, should we try anything? No, there's guys here. Also, like we feel terror right now.
Cool.
And then with the door still open from inside, you hear Gar's voice say, "Yes, come in."
I'll turn and enter, stopping at the door.
Okay. You come in, and it's what appears to be basically a study, a very large redwood desk in the center of the room that Gruntar is behind, writing a few correspondences in quill, or with a quill pen, it looks like. Archway that leads back that you probably would assume goes back to Gruntar's personal quarters whenever he actually stays here, but you know that he also spends a lot of time back in the Astral Sea. He doesn't even look up as he's writing, and as you enter, he says, "Yes, what can I do for you?"
Good morning, sir. I was hoping I could ask you a couple of questions about the exercise today.
Yes, of course. And he finishes writing something and puts the quill back in an inkwell, and then sets the parchment off to dry on one side and says, and then looks and says, "What questions do you have?"
I'm curious, would have been the right thing to attempt a rescue of the other squad, or did we do the right thing in seeking aid?
I see. What about the test then? Well, from my point of view, I would certainly say you did the right thing. You did not know the odds going in. Clearly, one squad had already been bested, and regardless of a difference in skill, enough information was provided to you that it was a challenge that could potentially end in disaster. So, as far as I can tell, you elected to take the less risky option that would be most likely to yield results, and went with it, which was coming and seeking greater aid.
I see. Thank you for that. I also wanted to ask about Hannibal, if I might.
Yes, what of him?
I'm having some difficulty figuring out how best to engage him effectively.
Mm.
And I was hoping you might provide some insight about how to do that better.
Yes, well, I would not be able to provide this for many of your teammates, but Hannibal is a special case. Having grown up here, I've encountered him for quite some time. Generally, we find that Hannibal is happiest when he is working on his projects. It is the work of artifice and science, the pursuits of the natural sciences, that interest him the most. Perhaps you could attempt to engage with him on those subjects.
I see. His presence here is different from the rest of us.
How do you mean?
He was here longer, I gather.
Astute of you to notice, yes. He was raised, unlike the rest of you, he was not raised outside the Enclave. He was raised here since birth.
And if I may ask, why him? Why was it different?
You may have noticed the circumstances regarding his appearance.
Yes, he does look somewhat odd.
It was concern that his people would not accept him due to his mutations. So, for the good of his training, we believe that it would suit him better to be raised among our people, who understood his greater purpose, rather than among a group that would not value him as he deserves.
And in that, to be blunt about it, sir, is he more important than the rest of us?
None of you is more important than the rest. You all have an important role to fill.
Very good.
And as you head out into the world, you will find that while at current he may be your most immediate source of information on the culture of our people, his knowledge of the outside world will be significantly lacking, and in that regard, he will need great aid from the rest of you.
I see. And may I ask you one final question, sir?
You may.
Do you have any advice or suggestions as we plan our next move about where to begin our search?
Thinking ahead, I see. Well, you will be provided with time to research and determine where you think would be best served. As far as we understand, the Illithid rear their ugly heads in a variety of places. They can be found nearly across the globe. So, any place is as good as another for attempting to find proximity to them. I would suggest focusing less on the likelihood of encountering an Illithid and more the capacity for you to gain power, prestige, allies, resources, things that you can use against them. Most likely a populated area, perhaps one where at least one of you speaks the language, although depending on your resourcefulness, you may find that that is a challenge that might be worth attempting to overcome.
I see.
But it is largely a matter of preference, and in some degree, also a test for you as much as yesterday was.
I understand. I thank you.
Of course. Anything else?
No, sir. And she'll bow from the waist and step back.
Aja, before you go, I would like to say that I do appreciate your sense of honor, duty, and propriety. You do great honor to from both the people that you came from and to us.
I wish to be looked favorably upon. Thank you for the kind words.
And he just kind of waves you out.
And she'll step out.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And that leaves us with... That leaves us with just one person. Drusilla, what are you doing?
So, every morning since she's come to this place, she's gone out into the jungle and attempted to change into an animal like she had seen her mother do. And so this morning is no different. She goes out into the jungle, finds a nice sunny area, and sits down cross-legged and just tries to concentrate on changing herself into a cat.
Okay.
And this is the first morning in 2 years that it works.
Okay. Well, yeah, you feel you're focusing on a cat, you kind of communing with the essence of what it means to be a cat, trying to imagine what it is to be a cat, and then you just feel, in a similar way to how you cast your spells, it's feel that connection, that kind of connection with nature, and drawing on that power from the ambient magic around you, from the natural world, and drawing it into yourself, and you can feel the change begin to happen. And as your your body is shrinking down, and your equipment and other clothing and things begin to meld with your form, you can feel yourself being able to make. You can kind of feel yourself guiding the transformation down into the cat. So can you, whatever cat you were picturing, whatever color of fur, length, anything like that, is exactly what you turn into as you finish your transformation.
So now she is an orange tabby, and now that we're a cat, we're just gonna run around the enclave, see who notices.
Okay, so yeah, you finish the transformation. You're kind of sitting in a normal seated cat position. You notice that everything looks a lot bigger. The colors are slightly different from your feline eyes, just picking up on different things. You realize that you notice small motions and like leaves and things, like your attention is drawn to it much more quickly, being a small predator now. Things like tiny movements that could be a mouse or something are almost like amplified in your attention. But yeah, and then you can go turn around and then just go running through the enclave. You feel incredibly agile and like light as a feather with your movement, and like it's the most freeing movement you have ever felt, as you're able to like leap from rock to branch to tree, and like just moving through the jungle is like as easy as breathing in this form.
Do I see any of my teammates out and about?
Yeah, you would see at this point, by the time you've managed to like get to this point in practice and manage to find that space, we're probably at the point where Aja is coming out of the main pyramid. Reggie is practicing with his rapier over to the side. Hannibal is nowhere to be found.
Hello.
I'm gonna go to Aja and just go between the legs, you know?
Okay, so Aja, you're coming out of the temple, and then a small feline comes up in front of you and starts to like curl and twist between your feet and legs.
I'll look down at it, perplexed. It's not a squirrel. Not a badger. I'll nudge it a little bit with my boot. Not hard, just a nudge. See what it does.
Kind of looks at you, this little held head, and lays down right in front of you.
Aja will crouch down, tentatively reach out a finger and just poke the cat. See what that does.
There's nothing. It's just kind of like the head tilts the other way. Like, what are you doing?
Poke it again. Feel how soft it is. Maybe give it a scratch.
I love the scritch. And after she gets that good scritch, she's gonna stand up. And can I see Reggie?
Yeah, over in the training field, like practicing rapier form.
So she's gonna slowly start to walk towards Reggie, kind of looking back at Aja, like, follow me.
Aja will drop down into a crouch and begin stalking along behind.
You go into your like hunter's crouch as if you're stalking prey, also following right behind this cat.
Do I see these two stalking towards me? Do I see a cat?
I don't know. Let's see.
Okay. Crouch stalking towards me.
Let's see. Two of you make a stealth check. Let's see how.
Oh,
Reggie's distracted. Reggie is focusing entirely. You're laser focused on stabbing with your rapier. So let's see if you're paying attention to the rest of it.
6.
Oh boy.
My hunter's skills are in full mode. I got a 4.
Okay. So yeah, that does not beat your passive perception. So neither of them. So yeah, you're practicing, and then just out of the corner of your eye, like you're like ha ha ha, huh? And you just see Aja crouched and like crawling along the ground with an orange cat right in front of her. The two of them just like in like almost like a 2-person conga line, making their way through the like over the open field towards you.
I just kind of like stare at them like, okay. Pull my water skin. Oh, they're still there. They're still there. Okay. Okay. What are you doing?
Shh. Quiet. Do you know what it is?
I guess I've seen a cat before.
Oh yeah, you definitely have.
Yeah. Have we seen any cats at the Enclave?
Never the Enclave, no.
Okay. It's a cat. You don't know what a cat is?
It looks like a very tiny yellow panther.
You just
Or
feel
or
it.
nearby.
I mean, it is a feline, so it's kind of close. I'll give you that.
But
Wait,
what should we do? I mean, should we alert the guards or?
well, I think it's a cat.
I mean, what if there's other ones or bigger ones or something?
Generally, cats are not very dangerous. Generally, I mean, they can scratch a bit, but it's mostly just annoying. Well,
Just annoying.
for the most part. Sometimes that's good.
Cute.
Can I take a look at the cat?
Yeah, they probably reached up to you at this point.
Can I I have I have a ration. Can I have the cat?
Sure, you like dangle a ration for the
I'm
cat.
gonna grab Reggie's hand and try to yank it back. No,
Why?
its bite could be deadly. You don't know.
This is amazing.
Where I come from, these things are, well, they're
Okay,
bigger, but they are.
This isn't a tiger. This isn't a panther. It's a cat, and it's a cat. Like,
It's
okay.
a child of one, and the others are around somewhere. I'm going to make a look around for another large prey.
Okay.
Where did you live where you never saw a cat before?
Well, just little ones that turn into big ones. That's Reggie. Do you understand about how little things become things?
I so wish I was in this like scene and I had enlarge reduce.
It grew.
Object lesson.
No, but here's the thing. Cats generally don't grow that big. They're like They stay pretty small for the most part.
So you're saying this is different than a panther?
Yes, it's a feline, but it's not as dangerous.
How big do they get?
Like, how big's the cat currently?
I don't know. How big's the cat?
Is it like adult size?
Yeah. At this point, can I change back into Drusilla and just be like, about this big?
Yes, you can. So Drusilla's just laying on the floor.
Fall on her back. Confused, very confused.
Hi.
You are not a cat.
No, I'm not.
Is Hannibal around? Has he done this?
No, I did it myself.
How did you do that?
Well, I went out to the forest and I sat there and I thought really, really hard, and then I was a cat.
Oh my. Huh.
Kind of want to make Reggie just sit on the ground right then and there and think really, really, really hard about the bear.
Just sit down. Just bear.
Can I just have Reggie do that now? He just like as they're having this conversation, just like, bear.
Make me a wisdom check.
Okay. Not one. That's a 10, right? That's a 12. 11.
Bear. You get a really good mental picture of an image of bear in mind. You know what? You think you might have done it.
Can I turn towards the two of them and growl at him?
Reggie turns regular Reggie just turns the two of you and just goes, ah.
They lost their minds.
Good job, Reggie!
God damn it.
I have never wanted Hannibal around before. No. I am so confused.
No, it didn't work, did it? Damn.
I will pat Reggie on the head.
Maybe I need to go into the forest for it to work. I'll go do that.
Is this new, Drusilla?
As of this morning, yes.
Very strange sometimes.
Well, aren't we all?
Speaking of which, should we seek out Hannibal and figure out what we're doing this morning?
Did Reggie actually?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like the entire time, just chanting, "There."
Perhaps we should go get Reggie before we get Hannibal.
That's probably a good idea. Yes, let's do it.
You guys follow Reggie out into the jungle. Hannibal, you've been in town this whole time, so what have you been in town?
I would have went towards the bar that they were at
Okay.
last week. Yeah. Do I see any drunk people possibly outside passed out? Or just drunk people outside?
It's like 10 in the morning at this point.
I'm looking for alcoholics. A lot of people do that.
True. Let me see. It might be difficult because this is like a small farming village. So let's see. Do they have like a town drunk? They do.
Yes!
See a town drunk just like splay it out. Like it looks like the tavern might be closed. It's like not even it looks like it services an inn, but it's not like a 24-hour kind of thing. Like they lock the doors at some point. So he's just like leaned up against the front with an empty bottle in his hand, just snoring in the mud. Just
I poke him in the stomach with the great white iron tip of my boot in his chest. Just poke him with it. Does he wake up?
What do you want?
Ah, fuck, you woke up. I have something to show you. Would you like some money? And I jangle like my coin purse in front of him.
Yeah, I'll take money. What do you want?
All right, follow me for a second.
Why?
Please don't.
I have something very important to show you. I'll pay you for your help and your patronage.
Looks at you suspiciously. Looks over the empty bottle. Make me a persuasion check, but with advantage.
Hell yeah, here we go. It's not gonna be great. 8. Oh, advantage. Cool. Thank God.
Yeah.
8.
That's all right. That's all right. You can keep it.
What if I give you the gold now? And then you come with me, and you'd be my employee. I'd be paying you to work for me and helping me out with my experiments. I'm a renowned scientist in this enclave over there, and I would very much appreciate your help, and I would pay you willingly for it.
What kind of work?
Just helping me work on experiments. You be my lab assistant.
Half now. Half first.
All right. Give him 10 gold pieces.
His eyes light up at the amount of money. He's like, okay, yeah, whatever you want. He like scrambles to his feet, like dusts his shirt off. He's like, where are we going?
Oh, this way. And I walk towards like a dense part of the jungle.
Okay.
No.
We'll be collecting fauna and foliage for my experiments. And then I just like look for like a dense, concealed part of jungle.
Okay, all right.
Charge into the forest, chanting bear. Do I run into them?
No, because the enclave and the village are a distance apart. There's a long road between them.
So is there any like flowers around that are like concealed by like foliage, like nobody can see us in here?
You could make your way dense enough into the jungle. Yeah. Also, some of you may recall from last week that there was a bit of a language barrier for a lot of you talking to the people in the village. Like you had like a second grade or like a Spanish 2 level of understanding of the language. Hannibal, having grown up in this region, you would basically be fluent in the language, which is why you can freely communicate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I point out like a nearby flower. What does it look like?
You see a very, very vibrant, bright red flower with kind of rounded off petals that kind of fold back into, like they up and kind of bloom out in this way, kind of very rounded, almost surfboard. I don't know why the first word that comes to mind is surfboard, but sure, surfboard shaped petals that come out with yellow stalks that come up the middle, about this big.
All right. What is your name again?
My name? Why you want to know?
Well, if you're my employee, I have to know your name for like, employment benefits and health insurance.
Huh?
I just want to know who I'm paying.
All right. And in order to pay me more, you need my name?
Well, I just want to know who I'm working with. My name is Hannibal.
All right. Okay. My name is Azal. My name's Azal.
Nice to meet you. See that flower over there?
Yeah?
Could you go pick it for me? I have to pick some stuff over here.
Just pick that flower?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And as he goes to pick it, can I like creep up behind him?
Give me a stealth check.
Yeah.
This poor man.
Oh,
Poor
no.
man.
11.
Yeah, it beats his passive perception by 1. Town drunk.
All right. Is he like?
So you creep up behind. You're not doing a good job of sneaking, but he's just hung over and desperate for booze.
So he's crouched over the flower.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't out. He just like walks over to it, bends down, just grabs it and yanks.
All right. As he's like
Being
bending
terrible
over,
skull.
I'm gonna pick up my light hammer, and I'm like, "Oh wait, I just need a little bit," and I'm gonna bring it down on the back of his head, like base of his skull, just.
All right, attack roll.
Are we gonna need to hide a body?
I finally get to do what I wanted to do with him. That's with my light hammer. That is. I didn't put arcane weapon on it for this, because I don't want to kill him. But that's a 15 to hit.
That does in fact hit.
Don't want to roll damage.
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage.
5 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, you just crack him across the back of the head, and he just slumps forward and lands in the flower bush. You said you didn't want to kill him, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so yeah, you knock him out, and he falls forward into the flower bush unconscious.
I look around to see if anyone noticed.
You're in like deep in the jungle.
Cool.
You're like 100, 200 feet deep into the jungle, so no.
I take my 10 gold pieces back. I don't take any of his money. I just take my 10 gold pieces.
He doesn't have any.
Oh, I take my 10 gold pieces. Take it back.
Okay.
I take out a little knife. I cut off a little bit of his hair on his head, and I put that in a vial. And then I look around and I cut just a little piece of skin off. Like, I cut the base, like his earlobe off, his left earlobe. Put that in a vial. And then I take a note, another piece of parchment, and I go, what was his name again?
What was his name? What did I say it was? Azal.
I write Azal. Something came out of the jungle and attacked you. It was a big creature. It bit your earlobe off. I'm hearing a really weird, like, gurgly playback of my voice. It's really weird. And
yeah, I'm hearing it too. Yeah.
I don't hear it now. Some creature came flying out of the jungle. It knocked you out, bit your earlobe off, took your money, took a clump of your hair. I chased after it. If you find me, I'll reimburse you or something, or whatever. Signed, Hannibal. P.S. The creature looked like this green-skinned half-orc with very bright clothes and a loot strapped to his back.
Mother!
And I take a little pin, and I pin the note to his like back, because he's like face down probably. Not to his back. You wouldn't see if it's on his back.
To his shirt.
I crumple it up, like I flip him over and crumple it up and like, yeah, pin it to the front of his shirt. And then I take a gold piece and I put the gold piece on the note.
Okay, so you leave him one gold piece.
Yep. And then I put what I took off of it, so like his earlobe and his hair, put them in my vials and my bandolier, look around, put my hammer back in my belt loop, and walk out of the jungle. Back towards the Enclave.
Okay, head back towards the Enclave. At this point...
Just said a bear.
Yeah, at this point, the other two of you have probably just been... I don't know, did you like stop, Reggie, or are you just standing there watching him as he sits down on a rock and just goes, bear, 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 bear?
I probably would have stopped if they asked you to.
I'm curious if they ask you to. That's what I want to.
I want to see how this happens. Honestly, actually does it.
Aja, do you have any opinions on the matter, or?
I don't have an opinion.
Okay, so you just stand there and watch him.
Ah,
Okay, Reggie, give me another wisdom check. See how this goes.
I'm rolling that 20, I swear to God. That's tail. Again. That's a 10.
Okay. Bear. You take in the ambient sounds of nature, the sounds of a babbling brook nearby, wind blowing through the trees, monkeys in the jungle chattering away, tropical birds, and you feel at one with nature for a moment, and you think, if you just think about a bear one more time, maybe you can do it. And then you're like, okay, I think I did it.
I turn towards him and growl again.
Reggie just turns towards you on the rock and just,
Did it work? Did it work?
Not quite.
You
Aja
trying to
will,
find Hannibal, huh?
Aja will turn to Drusilla and quietly say, "What's the difference between you and him?
I'm sorry, what? You cut out.
What's the difference between you and him?"
I've been
Not an idiot?
practicing.
Practicing.
I did practice every day since I was brought here.
Let's see. Okay.
Like Reggie just kind of like slides off the rock dejectedly. So we should find Hannibal, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that.
All right, so you guys head back out of the jungle, the Enclave. It's about the same time that Hannibal is coming back into the Enclave as well. You guys can see each other across the main central field area.
Hannibal.
Yes.
Come on. That's where you say, "Good morning."
Ah, yes. Good morning, I guess, is what you say back.
How are you?
I'm
How are
alright. I'm alright. I just did some shopping. Got some good materials for my experiments. That's about it.
Oh, what'd you get?
None of your business.
Oh, teammates. I just figured, some interest. Showing some interest would be nice.
I consider us reluctant acquaintances.
Ooh, we kind of have to be teammates though. So it's like.
I'm fine being teammates with Aja and Drusilla.
Thank you, Hannibal.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you like me. You like me.
No, your clothes are too bright. They're very garish. They hurt my eyes. And your little...
Hannibal, I have something for you.
Wunderbar. What is it?
I am not well acquainted with what you do exactly, although I've tried to understand a little bit. And yesterday I was trying to find something that may have been useful to you, and I'll reach into my pack and pull out that bottle of like paint thinner wine that I got. This seems pretty caustic. I thought perhaps you'd have a
Eyes
use
just
for it in
wide.
chemical endeavors.
That is
I'll
very
hold it out.
interesting. I have something for you too if you'd like it.
Yes, sure. What do you have?
I just got it. It's very, well, it's very interesting. And I hand him the vial of hair that I just got.
Right.
It's from a very...
Hold it up.
It's from a very majestic creature in the jungle. Very rare.
Oh? What kind of creature?
They call it a it's some sort of like big cat. It's like some sort of tiger. But it has like blue and white stripes and has 6 eyes and 3 tails.
That sounds terrifying. How did you manage to do that? That's incredible.
It was sleeping.
Very devious. Thank you. What should I do with it?
Keep it. Use it as make a lock out of make just clothing out of it. Keep it. Smell it. I don't know what to use it for. You may notice that the hair in the vial though isn't blue and white like the creature.
Yes, I had noticed.
It's because I took the hair from its under regions. It's got different color hair on the under regions.
I see. Well,
I love so much.
What have I done? What have I done?
I keep looking at like that bottle of stuff though. My eyes still like just focused on it. And what is this you have for me?
I'm not entirely sure. I just know that it's quite caustic and you probably shouldn't drink it. But I thought it may be of aid in your experiments.
Well, I don't drink alcohol, so this could be very interesting. I has an idea, though.
Great. Well, it's yours, and I'm going to hang on.
Take it. Thank you very much, Aja. I recommend that you and Drusilla stand back, so. Reggie, I don't care what happens to you.
Okay, Reggie, how don't you come over there?
Is it corked or is it like a twist cap? What is it?
It's corked, yeah.
Cool. And I smell it.
It smells like the strongest it's wood alcohol, so like it's incredibly concentrated non-edible alcohol.
Cool.
Literally paint thinner.
All right, cool. I take my gloved hand.
Okay.
I tap the bottle and cast Arcane Weapon on the bottle.
Okay.
But instead, and I'm gonna use fire on the bottle, and I'm gonna chuck the bottle as far as I can, just in a random direction, just see what happens.
Okay. Real quick, just to get the timing of this right, I want you to make me
I don't want it to explode in my hands.
Dexterity check. Yeah. Give me a dexterity check.
Okay. Oh, no! That's a natural 1!
Oh!
All right, you guys see Hannibal. He holds this bottle. He takes that gloved hands of his. You can see like the arcane workings begin to go, and then he goes to tap it, but he gets a little overexcited and just smacked it. And as he hits it, the glass cracks a bit, and then flares to life with arcane power. And all right. A lot of it spills onto the ground, but some of it lights up. So there's a mild explosion, and Hannibal, you take 3 fire damage.
Ah!
How much fire damage?
3.
Oh.
Ah!
And you guys step back after like the ground, the grass around you is singed and burned in a few places, and like there's a couple of small fires still burning and like glass shards everywhere.
Should we run before someone notices this?
No, this is fine. This happens to me all the time.
Okay then.
Well. Oh. All right then.
I cast Mending on the bottle.
Okay. Well, so mending, the way it works is it like attaches things back together.
Oh, yeah.
So it won't just like magically come back. What you can do is you can take the pieces.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend like the next like I'm gonna try doing that.
Yeah. So you like take a piece, try to figure out where it goes, put it back, and then mending, and it just completely fixes back, and then you're just doing that one shard of glass at a time.
Hannibal, we can get another one. It's really no trouble.
No, this is okay. I can use this to beat Reggie over the head with if he annoys me.
I can hear you.
I know, that's why I said it.
I think perhaps we should maybe save that for later, Hannibal. We get on with our expedition for the morning. I think we have a thing to do.
Oh yes, that sounds like a very good idea.
From behind you guys on the coming down the lawn, you just see your grantor voice ring out and just go, and this, Hannibal, is why we made sure our enclave was built in stone.
I'm wondering under my breath, and this Hannibal is where is
What was that?
Oh, sorry, I has the Tourette's. I can't control what I say sometimes. I'm sorry, Granta. Reggie, it's Reggie's fault. He brings out the worst in me.
I resent that comment.
You're
going to have to get that under control, Hannibal.
I will step forward and say, but don't think of him too harshly. Look at this. Hannibal snuck into the jungle sometime and encountered this incredibly ferocious, six-tailed, three-eyed predator in the jungle and managed to steal his hairs from his underregions of all places.
Oh, shit.
Incredible.
Did you say six-tailed, three-eyed? predator.
And I look back at Hannibal. Was it 3-eyed and 6 tails? Or 6 tails and 5?
If I recall correctly, I think it was 3 eyes and 6 tails. I could have been mistaken. It might have just been a normal cat.
I mean, the daring that must have taken is, wow,
Right.
humbling.
I recall it was blue and white.
Yes, blue and white is what he said.
Yes.
Regardless of the color of the beast.
I do my best to hide the earlobe vial.
It's in your pocket, yeah. Regardless of the beast that Hannibal allegedly stole this from, it is time for you to receive your reward from yesterday. We're going to be boarding the ships now. If you have anything you need to collect from your chambers, do so quickly. And then join us.
It's time to leave. I look back at the jungle. No, very good time. Let's go. I get on. So, see, yep. And I just hurriedly, rush towards the... Yep.
I'll look at the other two and say, probably heard about those giant cats out there.
Is it fair to assume that Reggie can possibly be kind of suspicious at point?
Oh, definitely. Oh, I mean, you could have potentially been suspicious immediately when you just be like,
I didn't want a metagame or anything.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But this is just a ridiculous statement. Yeah.
Can I ask Usher if I can see the vial of hair?
You want to see it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool. I think can I investigate what it looks like? What kind of creature hair it is?
Sure. I'll let you do that as you guys are boarding onto the skiffs at this point. You can take it and start inspecting it. Anybody else need to go and grab anything or do anything before you guys head out?
Just I've got my kit, my gear.
Okay. All right, you head up onto the Githyanki skiffs, and they unfurl their multicolored gossamer sails, and you see several of them, not just yours, several of them this time take off into the air. And Reggie, as you're looking at this, you can either medicine or a nature check, your choice.
I think those might be the same. Let me double check. Medicine, yeah, they're the same, so it won't matter.
Okay.
So interesting. Here. Okay, that is a 15.
Yeah, that this looks kind of just human. Just kind of looks like human hair.
Hannibal?
Yes.
Aja's going to just step over and say, glad it was examined. Thank you very much.
That's
me,
no,
Reggie.
Ash,
I'm going to get back now, and we're going to carry on. All right.
I have no idea what's happening right now.
Just envy, I assure you, Hannibal. Just envy. Don't worry about it.
That's probably what it is.
Hannibal. I lean into Hannibal. Did you touch someone's hair?
I lean in closer to him. You better watch out, Reggie. I like to collect hair. And I turn around and walk away.
So creepy. So creepy. Okay.
He's confused. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. Okay.
Actually, as I walk away, I shake the little earlobe vial in front of Reggie's face and put it back in my pocket.
I'm assuming I recognize it as an earlobe.
Yeah, you recognize. I mean, it's clearly some kind of human flesh in a jar or a little vial. So yeah.
You know what? Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm just gonna shut up now. Nope. He's just gonna sit down and wait to go wherever we're going.
Okay. So you take off into the air, and for the first time since you arrived here in the Enclave, on the day when you were first brought here, you take off into the air, you see the sails kind of shimmer, and then the world around you kind of almost like a film fade, where one kind of fades out and another one fades in its place, simultaneously, like a crossfade. the world around you kind of disappears and a new one takes its place. As you see, looking around you, you are flying through just featureless, almost basically like featureless space, flying through the air, and all around you at a distance, what you can see is just this distant background of sort of amber mixed and threaded with purples, almost like clouds, dotted with stars in every direction, up, down, left, right, every direction you can see. And off in the distance, you can see just shapes moving and kind of drifting through. You can see creatures skittering by, like or flying by on wings. You can see just large hunks of rock just kind of tumbling through the air, and yet that's where you can see like smaller creatures skittering on them and like look up at you as you pass before it tumbles past you, and you keep going. You can see that though this is on these skiffs, there is a significant number of Githyanki soldiers that were from the Enclave that are standing at the ready with their hands on their blades as they look out into what you would have at this point been educated to understand is the Astral Sea, and what Githyanki use as their rapid transit. You spend a little bit of time flying through this area, and then Grantar comes over to each of you on your skiff, and he says, "Now then, what you're going to observe when we arrive is the well, you're going to see the full might of a Githyanki raiding party descending upon a location from which we are going to be obtaining riches, items of import, anything of interest. So, if you would like to participate, perhaps in the aftermath, you can scavenge whatever may perhaps catch your eye or attention.
Like body parts?
If you so choose, Hannibal, yes.
Is there any aid we can give during the assault instead of the aftermath, which doesn't sound very interesting?
Well, it's going to be quite dangerous, and you are only recently graduated, so I doubt that there's anything that you'll be able to provide. By the time we arrive, it is probably going to be nearly over anyway. So he says, we should be arriving soon. If you will get to one side, you can see, get the best view for when we arrive. And he goes back up to the backside of the ship where the person steering is, as you can start to see that fading once again as the sort of amber and purple background begins to fade away, and familiar sky begins to take its place. And as it fades, you can hear almost like it sounds like a distant thunder getting louder and louder as the sounds change and fade with it. Last time you didn't really notice because it was just quiet, you guys moving through the air and into a quiet void, but now you're going from the quiet void into something much louder, it seems. And as the fade changes, it sounds like thunder getting closer and closer and closer to you, until as it finally ends, you come out into a scene of at least a dozen Githyanki skiffs, all flying in the air, circling over some kind of settlement. Each of them is pitched downward, and you can see that a variety of spells and magical weapons and even some just conventional gunpowder cannons are being aimed out and just fired down into structures, and you can see buildings splintering and exploding. And like from this height up, you can see movement, you can see people in the streets. You're not sure, like it's hard to tell who's armed and who isn't. You can see fighting, you can like identify conflict at least, as it looks like some of the Githyanki are on the ground at this point. But for the most part, it appears you're just coming into the middle of a bombardment. And one of the soldiers... sorry.
I was going to say something. I don't know what Hannibal would say, so never mind.
Oh, okay. One of the soldiers next to you just like, looks like we're late for the fun. We may be able to get down on the ground and get something soon, though. Doesn't look very, very prosperous. Probably won't be too much.
Why Why here? Why this?
Decision was made. Lich Queen decided. Another one says, I heard that one time someone took an entire building. And it was like, have you walked the streets of our city? Every building there has been taken in a raid. That's how we get all of our structures. And they look down over and say, maybe that one over there. And then like you just hear like a and then a cannonball comes in and strikes the base of the structure they were pointing at and explodes out the first floor, and the building just topples over and crashes onto the ground. So, well, never mind then. Baubles it is. Not going to get myself a house this time, I guess.
This is... Yes, it's quite barbaric.
This is what we do. This is how we get our things, supply our city, and keep ourselves sharp. Shame, though. Looks like there's not going to be much resistance. And right as he says that, right as he says that, can I get a perception check from everybody?
I'm about to die. That's not great. That is a 15 for me.
Okay.
15 for Hannibal.
Okay.
1.
Not at all paying attention.
16.
Okay. Everyone but Drusilla, you notice just this tiny little flicker of orange light just before it impacts with the side of one of the skiffs up ahead of you. And as it does, the balloon of orange fire erupts out from that point, and you can see wood and soldiers just flung outward from the point of impact as it just chews a hole just dug in the side of the skiff, ripping it nearly in half as the two halves crack and fall apart. And remaining wood of it are left just burning as it just plummets to the ground.
Sounds magnificent.
And second later, another one streaks out and just barely misses another one, but detonates behind it and just ignites the backside of that ship on fire, hitting the person in control of it, and it begins to just list and fall down, and just without any guidance, you can see people scramble to try and get back to the ship's wheel, but not in time, as it just comes down and just crashes into the ground and leaves a deep rut in the dirt.
As this is happening, light hammer in my right hand and sickle in my left, just in case.
Okay. All right. And then I will ask for one more round of perception checks.
Heck yeah.
For this part.
No, 2.
Okay.
23.
So what?
23.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
15.
All right. Reggie, you're the only one who notices. This time as you're looking, you can see there is a ruined building where it looks like the corners of it are still standing and providing some amount of cover. And you can see a humanoid shape dart out and point a finger up. And you can see exactly that small bead of orange light come right from that location. Like you can identify where it's coming from. Unfortunately, that finger is pointed directly at the skiff you guys are on. And as it comes, and those of you that got over a 15, you see it a second later. You don't see where it comes from, but you can see it as it's streaking towards you, and you can tell it's coming right for you.
What about Hannibal, who got a 2?
You have no idea. Yeah.
I'm like just in awe of the explosions of the skiffs. Like, yes.
Okay, so does our skiff start going down?
Well, so it's streaking towards you. I don't know if you guys wanted to do anything or react at all, because it seems like you're the ones that just noticed this.
Shut up. It's yourselves.
Okay.
What?
Okay, would I possibly... This probably isn't possible, but would I somehow be able to use Thunderwave to push the beam away?
It's moving too quickly. Like you would need, if you wanted to try and counter it, you'd probably need counterspell.
Right, yeah.
So it comes up, and it looks like your pilot did manage to see this and turns the wheel very sharply. So as it's coming towards you like this, you tilt downward, so then it's flying parallel to the deck. So basically you tilt down, and all of you are just like thrown against the side of the railing, up in the air, and you see it come up, and it looks like it's about to just fly right over the deck, but then it does that thing that it did on the other one where it's about to miss, but then it detonates mid-air above the deck, and you can see you're kind of the farthest away from it, but like the whole rank of soldiers on the other side of the ship just gets lit on fire, along with the entire mast sail is just engulfed in flames. And as that happens, you feel the entire ship just lurch, and then just the feeling of support under your feet vanishes as the ship begins to plummet down without anything keeping it in the air.
This is amazing.
Is the pilot?
The pilot is not dead, but the pilot is basically just grabbed onto something because the sails, which are what appears to have been keeping the ship aloft, are just incinerated immediately.
Are there maybe how close are we to the ground currently?
You were like 100 feet in the air.
Oh shit!
Okay, are there any rooftops near us?
As you're not up to your level, you're kind of coming down at this town.
Okay. Is there one on the way down as we're plummeting?
There is, yeah.
Okay. What would we need to do if we were to jump from the ship onto a passing rooftop?
I would say that'd be an acrobatics check.
Okay. Yeah, Reggie's. Guys, maybe we should abandon ship once we get close enough to a rooftop.
How fast are we plummeting?
Pretty quickly. It's like full. Basically, imagine a sailing ship just got dropped out of the sky. It's like kind of aiming a little bit. It looks like whatever is used to steer it is being used, normally is being used to guide its descent. So it's not going straight down. It's kind of coming in like crash landing style.
Yeah, physics tells me that's not a good move, but I don't know that as Aja. So Reggie can just do what Reggie does.
Gosh.
Okay, so who's jumping off the ship with Reggie and who's staying on board?
I'm not jumping right now. Until the rooftop gets close enough where the jump won't kill me.
Okay,
what
all right.
The Gith doing?
They're barely reacting and bracing and just hanging on to whatever they have because they don't really have any better ideas.
I'm going to do what they do. They probably know more about this than I do.
Okay.
Well, this just went teats up, and I'm going to cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
And the Mage Hand looks exactly like my right-handed glove. And I'm going to try to, throw it towards the... I can hear my gurgling again. That weird, gurgly voice again.
I don't know.
Are you guys hearing me? Yeah. I think that was my connection acting up, but I think it's okay now.
Yeah, Mage Hand is going to go towards this. Can I reach the steering wheel with my Mage Hand? Or whatever the captain's, piloting with?
Sure.
I'm going to try to help him with the Mage Hand. Make the landing not as bad with Mage Hand.
So you can try, trying to assist. He's really pushing. It's only 5 pounds of force, so you're just helping out. It's a little bit of help.
Actually, are there any injured I could heal?
At this point, plumbing out of there, but it's plumbing out of the sky. You don't have enough time to get over to them and start healing. Probably a good way to do that is once you've landed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming out of the sky. You pass that roof. You start to pass that rooftop. So who's going with Reggie and jumping off of it, and who's staying on board?
I'm starting to not like saying to jump in now. Oh boy! If no one else is coming with me, I'll probably stay.
Okay, so you go to jump. You decide. You see no one else is going, and you decide against to just grab onto the railing.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Just as you're about to hit, you can see that Grantar is in the back, and he's been yanking people up to their feet, and he grabs a couple of those robed individuals that are always with him, and barking orders at them rapidly in the language. And as he does, they like get up. One of them is just like got a burn down one side of his face. Another one just looks like she smashed her face into a railing and is bleeding. But he manages like to get them up and moving. And then the two of them cast a spell in unison. It looks like they're very much straining, and you can feel as they finish casting the spell, the ship doesn't quite stop, but its descent slows significantly and becomes a lot more controlled as they both cast their highest level telekinesis to just try and catch the ship. As you guys come down, it turns and just Hannibal, even with your help, you manage to dodge like one building, but on the back wing you come up and there's basically looks like a town hall that you just slam sideways into and just skid all along it, and you can just hear the grinding of like metal or stone and wood crashing into each other as pieces of the ship just start flaking off, and then you come down and crash, and everyone just goes flying off the ship.
Oh god. Us included, I'm guessing?
Hmm?
Us included, I'm guessing?
Yeah, everybody just gets lurched forward, and the ship lands like kind of at an angle. You all go kind of tumbling to one side, but as the dust clears, it looks like they managed to slow things down enough that you are, for the most part, unharmed. However, as you turn and look around, you notice that somewhere in the descent, you're not sure how far you skidded after you landed, but it appears somewhere in the descent, the front half and the back half of the ship split, and you're hanging on to the front half, but the back half is just, you don't even know where it is, just like a cloud of dust through a couple of buildings and
Which half
streets.
is Granta on?
He was on the back.
Wunderbar. So,
Crap.
Grand Tower is dead.
Guess you're in charge.
I guess I am in charge as the eldest member of the Enclave here.
Are we hurt at all as this thing skids to a halt?
No, it's pretty much with the use of the telekinesis at the last minute and just any remaining enchantment on the ship, it manages to come to a rough, relatively safe landing.
Yeah.
Seems like you guys managed to get the least of it, but a lot of other people are injured and burned.
We're not the only ones on the front, are we?
No, you're not the only ones, but they're like the other ones up there start like getting the wounded in place and like start setting it up almost like a camp, like going out to start grabbing things to use as cover and place. You can hear fighting in the streets all around you.
Can I make a perception check to see if there's like any threats coming to us?
Go ahead, yeah.
18.
Okay. You can hear your finely tuned hearing. You can hear fighting around you and fairly close, but it seems like it's not getting any farther or closer. It seems like for now it's a stalemate. But as you're looking, you do notice from what seems like relatively close by, another streak of orange go up into the air and strike the side of another ship, and that one starts going down.
Arcane weapon on my light hammer.
Okay.
Lightning. Yeah.
Can I roll perception to see if I see if when I was looking here, I saw where that bolt came from, right?
You did, yeah. You saw where it came from.
Can I see if I can see that area now?
Go ahead and actually look. You got a pretty good look from above of where the area was, and you probably could recognize the building if you thought you went closer to it. And Aja just got a good look at the direction. So pretty much, if you combine that together, if you could figure out the direction, you could find it pretty quickly.
Okay.
I'll verbalize what I saw. Are there any other Gith around that look like they're in charge besides Hannibal?
You're pretty sure that all of these people are a higher rank than you, but for the most part, they're like triaging and kind of setting up like a defensive position at this point. And one of them looks up and is just like, "We fine as soon as our skiffs can make ground, but as long as that keeps happening," he points up at that like descending wreckage that you just saw explode. He's like, "As long as that keeps happening, we're not going to get any support from the air."
And all I saw was a humanoid figure, right? When I was in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we find who's ever doing that, and we brutally...
I saw this building there, right?
Yeah, we should go deal with that.
Yes, then we...
Yeah, but yeah, Hannibal, when you should go deal with that, the guy like dragging someone out of some wreckage just turns to you and says, "Great, thanks for volunteering. Go get him."
Very well. Sounds good. Are we expecting the payment for doing this?
He seems too distracted by like getting his person out.
So,
and, like,
Reggie, where did you see this figure?
I'd recognize the building, but I don't. But the crash screwed with my sense of direction. I don't know which direction it came from.
I'll point out it came from over there. I just saw it again.
If we're going that way, I would probably recognize the building.
I will put my sickle back on my waist for a second. Still have the hammer in my hand. I dust off my hat, my coat with my free hand. Sickle back out. All right. Who wants to lead? Okay. I guess it should be me.
What's the question? You
Who's
broke up.
who's going to lead this group to their death?
Well,
I'll
Asha
go
knows the
first if
direction.
that's what you mean.
Maybe both me and Asha should lead from the front because I know the building, but she knows the direction.
Does that make sense to me?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys clamber out of the wreckage and start making your way. Aja, you know the direction, so you start directing. You start moving through the streets.
I'm gonna swing my glaive and pull out my shield and my long sword for one.
Okay. Start making your way through the streets. Because of Aja, because you noticed the direction, and Reggie, because you identified the building from above. You manage to not have to do much wandering as you're making your way in this direction, so you don't get too close to the fighting. So you seem like, for the most part, you're managing to avoid conflict with whoever else is in this area and make just a beeline straight for this location. As you're going, you see what looks like it was either a salve of a combination between cannon blasts and possibly another crashing skiff that basically just left a trench through several buildings. So you can see just like the hollowed out, like almost like a hollowed out tunnel with like dubious structural integrity at best for the top part carved through. But Reggie, you can identify the side of the building up ahead, and you can like manage to spot it a few streets down and make your way over, and you can start approaching it from what looks to be the side. So based on your direction, the direction you're coming from and what you can remember, it seems like whoever was in this was focused forward, and you're kind of coming at them from the left side.
I'll stop everybody. Maybe we should try and approach quietly.
Yeah, is there any kind of rubble that like take cover behind and like sneak around?
Oh yeah, it is just complete. Like you're basically going through the like exploded out wreckage of buildings, so it's nothing but just like slopes of rubble and wreckage.
And perhaps Drusilla could turn into those small creatures again and maybe sneak in and see what she sees.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Or Reggie, whichever of you thinks you're able to do it.
I think as a small creature, she'd probably have a chance than me.
She has been practicing for a long time. Yeah. You've only been practicing since this morning, so yeah. She's probably a better player.
What are you talking about?
Oh, wait till you see this. This is amazing.
Wunderbar.
So, just to be clear, I'm to go in and see what there is there and then come back to you guys?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're willing.
I would rather do that and then sit around, wait to die. All right, here I go. And concentrate again, and then shrink down to that orange tabby again.
Okay, yeah, you find it much easier the second time around. You just shrink down into all four of an orange tabby cat.
Hannibal is instantly like, that is very interesting. He kneels down, plucks a hair out, puts it in a vial, and puts the vial in his bandolier. All right, continue. I'm so sorry.
My suggestion is not to take one from the underparts.
She's just gonna take off.
Okay.
Towards the building.
So you take off running through the rubble, and you find it very easy to just jump around through all of this. As you get closer to the building, you find that there is basically this easy side entrance to it. But as you come around a corner, because this tunnel or this trench of wreckage kind of takes a little slight bend coming up on this building, you can see what you can only describe as a massive blue shimmering hand floating in the air, blocking this passageway for the most part, just kind of hovering there. And you do notice one of the Gith who one of the Gith who seems to have made their way over to this area, who's taking cover with a sword, runs out with a battle cry and comes out swinging at it, and just takes a good few hits out of it, and it just kind of sits there. But then you see a older woman in blue robes with like very, very, very short hair lean back like in the building into line of sight where she can see this, and you can see with her left hand, which is shimmering with that same blue energy, she clenched a fist and just thrusts her arm forward, and the giant hand matches it and just punches this guy and just sends him sprawling. But it does not look like she has seen you as a cat.
I'm going to take advantage of that and try and sneak around.
Okay. So you sneak around and dodge around. The hand goes back to just kind of floating in the air, right in blocking off the access to where she is taking cover in this building. You sneak around, you behind. It looks like she is alone and injured in this building, kind of like heaving. You can see some blood around from it looks like where like some shrapnel from a explosion ran and hit her, and she's holding her side. But she like leans out a window, and you can see she like points her fingers out a couple times. It's like popping up and firing. You can see like a blue ray shooting out of her finger and hitting Gith at a distance before hiding back in cover.
Is she like just like a single room? Is there other rooms?
It looks to be basically the rubble-filled first floor of what once was a building. It's like the corners and like the front half of the building, like the front walls and the sides are standing, but then like the front part of the building and then the corners are standing, but then the side walls are caved in. The back is just completely gone, and like any roof or second floor is currently on the ground in pieces.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go around to try and keep behind her so she doesn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Just get a sense of what exactly is here to have the most information back.
Okay. Looks like for the most part, she is just taking cover behind in like the front left corner of this building where she can basically peek out a window and either blast fireballs up at the ships or these blue rays at people to try and get close before getting back around. Other than that, it looks like she doesn't have any support in here. It's just like she's found a corner to hunker down in, and she's using like the main avenue of entrance coming up to her is that giant hand floating in the air, but and she's blocked that, and that's how she's blocking that off.
Okay. So having seen all of that, try and make my way back to the team.
Okay, you can sneak back past, and at one point, like as you're making your way along, you get like right underneath the hand, and a brick like slips out from under your foot, and there's just like but it just does not react as you see like another ray shooting out the front of the building, and it's like you're right underneath it, and it just keeps hovering there, and you can just continue on.
So I'm gonna make my way back to the team
Mm-hmm.
and go back to Drusilla.
All right, you see this cat come back a bit more dusty now, having gone through all this rubble, and like there's falling dust and pieces coming from up above, and then she just stands back up into Drusilla's form.
So, she's alone in there. There's only one of them. She's fairly injured. You could probably take her easily, only she has a hand watching the door that she controls with her hand. And I'm not sure how she knows who's there. Through sound, might through sensing, but I did move a brick under the hand and she didn't do anything. So if we're quiet, we might be able to sneak around.
Did you see a way to disable the hand?
We could have a slap fight. I can conjure hands as well.
If that's how you want to distract her.
Wunderbar.
Was there only one way into where she is?
From the direction you guys are coming from, yes. Either you'd have to come that way, or you'd have to really double back around and try and find away from alleyways. But you're not sure. From when you were trying to approach, it seems like a lot of these like passages have been collapsing. It's kind of turned this area into more or less a maze.
Right.
It feels like this might be our best bet.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find a way around it. If not, we can perhaps distract her enough.
And I only have this hammer for 1 hour, this crackling lightning for 1 hour, so ideally we figure some things out soon.
Let's get a little closer and see what we see.
Okay. So you can kind of creep closer way around that corner, around that bend. You can get within line of sight, and I don't need stealth checks because constant sounds of battle and rumbling and crashing sounds, cannon blasts. It's deafening out here. It's very difficult to hear anything. And from here, you don't see her from line of sight. You can kind of peek around a little of a corner and see some of those blasts of blue and an occasional streak of orange come out from the window. It looks like she's definitely focused forward for the most part, unless something really draws her attention. You do see the hand. It's giant, blue, and shimmering. And like when I say giant, I mean like large-sized, bigger than a person, hovering there, blocking as much of the door as possible. But like you're pretty much in the line of sight of it, but you don't like. You're hiding from it, but it doesn't look like it has any means of like seeing or detecting you.
And it fills up the entire doorway. There's no way to squeeze in around it.
Pretty much. And Drusilla would have noticed that like the Gith that charged it like tried to get past it. It just kind of was just naturally just swaying side to side in a way that just blocks access.
Master hand.
Pretty much. Are any of you trained in Arcana?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone who trained in Arcana can.
I would be.
Did you take proficiency in Arcana?
Nope.
Well then, no.
Damn.
That is a 20. Dirty 20.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
Did Jack of all trades count or no?
Yeah, you can roll because you're half proficient in everything. So go ahead.
That is a 18.
Okay. Then in that case, all three of you were able to identify the spell as Big B's hand, hovering in the way. You know that it can be damaged, it can be attacked. It looks, just from looking at it and like how it's like flickering and its edges don't look quite as pristine as it normally should when it's cast. This thing's probably taken some damage. But you're also with identifying that, I'll give it to Hannibal with the 20. You are aware that the hand does not act on its own. The hand is an extension of the caster. So she needs to choose to do stuff for it, which means that she can't see you. She can't target you with it. Kind of try and flail wildly, but if you can see the hand, but she can't see you, she can't do anything.
How far away is the hand?
At this point, I'd say about like 70 feet. Kind of got like you stay at a safe distance back, but at this point you're aware that the hand can't see you. So as long as you're out of her line of sight, you could walk right in front of it, basically.
I'm going to get 30 feet away from the hand if I can. I'm going to like, guys, I can handle this. Just watch this. This is going to be very cool. And I'm going to like sneak forward about 30 to get away from like 30. I'm going to sneak forward 40 feet. So I'm 30 feet away from the hand.
Okay, so Hannibal just exits forward and starts creeping forward and gets right up behind some cover, I'm guessing, not just like standing in front of it.
I'm going to follow.
Okay. And I take the light hammer. It's got lightning enchanted on it right now. I go pick it up. Checks this out. It's really cool. And I'm going to huck it at the hand.
Okay, make me an attack roll.
Dirty 20.
Perfect, you hit.
Yeah. So
roll damage.
That's 7 bludgeoning, and then for the lightning, that is 4 lightning damage.
Okay, so your hammer comes flying out and strikes it right in the palm. There's a discharge of electricity, and you can see the force that composes it kind of flicker a little bit as it loses some of its integrity. It still manages to stay though, and then your hammer just bounces off, and then turns in the air, stops, then flies right back to your hand.
Catch it.
And then you catch it. You can see the woman, like you can see a pause in the blasts up front.
Yeah.
You guess that she's probably coming back to look around the corner to see what just happened.
Duck down behind cover. Just duck.
Okay. Aja, you're right up there. You see Hannibal just throw this hand, fly off, discharge lightning, and catch the hammer, and then duck down behind cover.
I'll duck down with him.
Okay. You duck down. Those of you that are further away and you can see this, you see her look and you can see the hand just start, she kind of makes a pushing motion. The hand just starts to float forward, but she's like anxiously like looking around, trying to spot anything. and then something draws her attention from the front, and she goes back up forward, and the hand just stops where it is. Probably about 20 feet away from you now.
All right. I think we can get past the hand and into the tower now.
Okay. Should we do so quietly?
We should,
others?
Do it at least very quietly. Yes, that sounds like a good idea.
All right.
So the others are what? How far away are the others? They're 40 feet, I think I said.
40 feet back from you, yeah.
Okay. I think I have an idea to contact them without going over there and contacting them.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Oh.
And I'll stand up a little and wave.
Oh, that works. I was going to cast a spell on this rock and have a written message on the rock and throw it at them. But that works as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I'm assuming we see the wave.
Yeah, you see, like you can see them from behind. So, like you saw the whole exchange. You see, I was just kind of turn back and wave at you.
Okay, I'd like to sneak forward though.
Okay, yeah, you guys can creep forward. And the hand is about 20 feet away from you. It's moved up, so it's less like in the entranceway now. So if you have to go like right next to it, but if you do, you can get past it.
Okay. We can either sneak past it, or I could try and thunderwave it to finish it off.
Or we just sneak past it and don't alert ourselves to our location more than we already may have.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You guys gonna try and test?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Give me some collective stealth checks. Let's see how y'all do.
Oh no, that's an 11.
13.
Sorry, everyone roll with advantage because of the
of
the constant sounds of battle around you and everything. You have a lot
Cool.
covering.
With
yourself.
advantage, that's 19.
Okay.
That is a 17.
Oh.
11.
Okay.
15.
Okay. You're all making your way up a lot closer. You sneak right past the hand. It's like right next to you, but you manage to just skirt right around it and make your way closer. You come right up to the edge of the building, and let's see. As you get around the corner, Drusilla, you're taking a little bit more time just because you're like being very careful with your sneaking. It's a little more awkward now that you don't have like the feline ability of a cat. Transitioning from a cat to a person, almost like wearing lead weights in comparison. And you come around, and as you do, Drusilla, you lean over on something, and you cause just a cascade of rubble, like gives out, and a cascade of rubble just tumbles down past you. And the other three of you who just managed to crest around the corner, you see the woman who is in there whip around to look back at you and see the three of you
Throw
just
my hammer. Throw my hammer.
there, but you managed to get roll initiative.
Okay.
See who reacts first.
16.
Okay. Hang on to these numbers.
This is gonna be so bad.
That is a 18 for me.
Okay.
It's a 6 for Drusilla.
Okay.
No.
7 for sure.
Oh no.
So, who got what again?
I got an 18.
I got a 16.
Okay.
Big old 16 for Hannibal.
All right, and then after that was Aja with a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then Drusilla had a
A
what?
6.
Okay. All right. Reggie, you are first. She turns around and notices, but you spring into action, and you are ready to go.
How far away am I from her?
You are like 15 feet.
Okay, then I can't thunderwave because the distance is 15 feet.
Okay.
So I send a burst of, like a thunderwave cascading like away from me, and she has to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Constitution. Saving.
Okay, yeah, and did she pass?
Well, what's the number?
12.
12? Well, a 5 does not beat a 12.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, roll damage on that.
So she takes 2d8 And on a fail is 10 feet away from
Okay.
him. Yeah. 3 or 6 damage, huh?
Okay. All right, so she takes the damage, and then like she kind of like crosses her arms in front of herself to try and shield herself from the blow, and is just hurled backwards through the window and like out into the front of the building. She lands like on her back, and she's gonna need to make a concentration check, which she misses by 1. So behind Drusilla, you can see that hand like as she like heard that, you can see the hand like clenching into a fist and then come flying towards you. And then as it does, you hear a thunder wave from up front, and then it just disintegrates into just a blue cloud of dust that vanishes around you. It just like parts around you as Reggie casts his thunder wave, just distracting her in time. And that will bring us to Hannibal.
Did she fall off the building? Or just went out a window?
It's the first floor, so she just got hurled like through the window.
Oh.
So she's like just on the outside, on the other side of the window.
I'm gonna run out the window and jump through the window if I can. And I'm gonna bring the hammer down on her head.
Okay, so you just leap out the window and bring the hammer down. Roll an attack. Roll with advantage because she's prone.
Another dirty 20, 15 plus 5.
Yep, that'll hit.
So that is for bludgeoning. For bludgeoning, that'll be 5 bludgeoning and 1 lightning.
Okay, so
and then and because of 2 weapon fighting as a bonus action, I'm going to bring the sickle down on her throat.
Okay, so you bring the hammer down, and you follow it up with the sickle. Go ahead and roll that one.
Natural 1.
Oh, okay. So you bring that down, and you cling, smacks into the pavement next to her. She manages to pull out of the way. That will bring us to her turn.
Uh-oh.
So with you directly above her, she just takes 2 fingers and points them at you, and she's going to make an attack roll.
It'll probably hit.
Does a 19 hit you?
I have 12 AC. Yes, it does.
All right.
Why did I do that?
So you take 5 points of frost damage as ray hits you and like ice just begins to coat around your body.
Hannibal not looking good.
And she's going to stand up, and then she actually tries to retreat off to the side, so you get an attack of opportunity as she leaves.
With the lightning hammer.
Okay. You're pushing against the ice that's like freezing you in place, but no.
It's an 8.
Okay. That missed. Also, your speed is currently reduced by 10 for the round. Because of the frost kind of slowing you.
Yeah. Okay.
She only is able to move 15 feet away from you because she had to stand up. That'll bring us to Aja.
How much movement would I need to get to the window and through it?
Window and through it is 15 feet.
Okay. I will.
And then she's 15 feet away. So basically, if you give me either an acrobatics or an athletics check to clear the window and with normal, without treating it as difficult terrain, you can get right up to her.
Sure. Acrobatics or athletics?
Mm-hmm.
22.
Okay. Which one was it? Acrobatics or athletics?
Athletics.
Okay. So you just run and you basically just like do a long jump through the window and kind of curl yourself up so you pass right through it and land on the ground, not even missing a step, right next to Hannibal, and then turn and chase after her, and you can get right up next to her as she's trying to make her way along the front of the building.
She's running, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm probably just looking at a thing. I'm gonna try and grapple her.
Okay, so that will be an athletics check versus her acrobatics. Oh, actually, her athletics.
23.
Okay. Shit's a 14. So you run up and you manage to grab onto her.
Cool. So speed is 0, and that should be that.
All right, yeah. So she's right next to you. That'll bring us to Drusilla.
How far away is she from where I was?
She is pretty much about 30 feet away from everybody. So it's 15 feet to the window in order to get line of sight on her, and then 15 feet around that corner.
Okay. And do I see Hannibal?
Yeah, you can see him right through. He's still just outside the window. Yeah.
And I can see the frost on.
Yeah, you can.
Gonna go up to him, go through the window,
Okay.
pat him more like on the wrist because she's not tall enough to reach his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So just put him on the wrist. Just be like, you did good, bud, and do a cure wound.
Thank you very much. I'm only 6'4".
4'9".
Oh.
That is 11.
11 healing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back at full with 14 hit points.
All right. And that'll bring us back up to the top of the order with Reggie. So you thunderwaved her out the window, and then your companions all just ran and basically chased her out the window, and they've all gone around the corner. You saw Hannibal swing a hammer down at her, Aja run off after her, but you can't really hear exactly what's going on outside.
Right. Okay. So can I use an acrobatic check to flip through the window and just so it's not treated as difficult terrain?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's an 8.
All right, you run up, you try to like vault over it, like hands on the windowsill and vault through, and you end up actually just whacking your knees right on. You're like, ah! You manage to like catch yourself, so you don't just go tumbling through. But you kind of have, you have to spend the extra space of movement, like extra 5 feet of movement just to get through it. Yeah, so you're not gonna have enough to get to her.
I have to get to her, or I don't?
You're not going to have enough to get to her now. No.
Right. How close can I get to her?
You can get about 10 feet away from her.
10 feet away. Would I be able to throw my dagger at her?
You could, yeah.
Would I have disadvantage or advantage because she's grappled?
Neither. Grapple doesn't affect rolls.
Just speed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll like to try and with my dagger.
Okay, go ahead and make the attack roll.
Please hit Aja with the dagger.
That is a 13 to hit.
All right. It looks like it would hit. It looks like it's going to hit her, but then it hits an invisible barrier that seems to be protecting her.
Me.
Does start with that letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some sort of armor for mages.
Maple
What kind of crazy thing like.
There you go. Just that's what happens when you just cover yourself and
As
and let
a
it
bonus action, I would like to give Aja Bardic Inspiration.
Okay. All right.
Birds.
Bring us to Hannibal.
Yeah, I pat Drusilla on the head. Tap, 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 tap. Thank you very much. Watch how awesome I am. Look at this. And I'm going to throw my lightning hammer. Just
Okay.
17 to hit.
Yeah, that does hit. That breaks right through that barrier.
So that'll be 5 bludgeoning.
Okay.
And for the lightning, actually, I'm not going to roll lightning because I have to make a concentration check on arcane weapon. I forgot to do that.
Oh, right.
What was the? Yeah. So concentration. I just roll it.
DC 10.
DC 10, and I roll
Constitution saving throw.
Got a natural 1, so there's no lightning damage on that.
Okay,
just,
so
just
no
a normal
lightning.
hammer, just 5 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, so bam, hits her in the side of the shoulder. On her, and she turns to Aja, who is holding her, and says, "What are you doing? We're friends, remember? You want to let me go?" Make me a wisdom saving throw.
You can add that D6 to that.
And you can, yes, you can add Bardic Inspiration to that if you need to. You can decide if you roll it, but before
the outcome
Is she doing that for Aja or me?
Aja.
Okay.
Is grappling her.
I got a 14, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it for a total of 19.
Okay. Yeah, you can feel yourself. Yeah, you're right. We are friends. But then Reggie's words of inspiration ran out in your ear, and it reminds you who your actual allies are here, the one you've spent 2 years training with. You're like, what? No,
I am a bear. That's right. friend.
Okay, and that I believe brings us to your turn. As her attempt to charm you fails.
Oh no! I'm a bear. Holding her, I'm going to with my long sword, just kind of reach around and try to take a stab at her.
Okay, make me an attack roll.
That is a nat 20.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, roll for reach around.
Had to make it weird.
I get him.
17 altogether.
Oof. Okay, so yeah, you reach right with your sword. You just drive it hard through. You almost you like have to move yourself because the blade actually comes out the other side of her, and like she's still hanging on. She's still standing, but she like her breath catches as this happens, and like she almost like goes limp in your grasp, where she manages to like draw herself up, standing up straight again, and she just bleeding profusely from her side. She's not doing well. And that'll bring us to Drusilla. You can see Aja is holding this woman still and just stabbed her, and she is not doing very well at all.
I am a bear.
Yeah, you can see, you could hear the woman like try to tell Aja, like casting a spell, tell Aja to like let her go. And Aja just like, no, I'm a bear, and then stabbed her.
Oh. Hannibal's still right beside her, right? Like he didn't move. She's just gonna turn to him and be like, should we bring her to Mr. G?
No, we should kill her.
I don't.
Yeah, we should take her to Mr. G if we can.
Hey, Hannibal, she might be a good test subject. I mean, she's got her abilities.
I don't need her alive to be a test subject.
Well,
It's take out the boomerang and just try and knock her out with it.
All right, go ahead and roll an attack roll with the boomerang. I love the boomerang.
I love my boomerang. A natural 1.
Would it still come back to you?
On a missing.
It's like you miss it, where you miss her entirely, and you're like, okay, whatever, it's gonna come back. But you throw it so far, it like flies through a window into a building across the street, and you're just like clack, clack, clatter, clatter, clack. It just like falls and lands inside that building over there and doesn't come back.
Can I go after it?
I just run after the boomerang. Yeah.
It's supposed to go the other way.
Back up to the top with Reggie.
Right. Okay. So I can
like nearly limp in Aja's grasp at this point.
How is she looking? Does she look like one more hit like end her?
A good one.
Okay, can I just try and can I use the pommel with my rapier to knock her out?
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll. She's still fighting, resisting.
That is a 18.
18 does hit.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll damage.
That is 8 damage.
Okay, so you come up right next to Aja, who's still holding long or probably readying for another strike, and you just come up and just whack with the bottom of your rapier, and you see your eyes just roll up and just goes limp in Aja, completely limp in Aja's arms, and is unconscious.
Ooh, well done, everyone.
Can I pick up my dagger real quick?
Yeah, you can go find your dagger.
Yeah.
Just how you go into the building over, and you like have to go up to the second. It's like the only building with a second floor still standing, so you have to like go up the stairs and like bedroom, and like you're searching through it, and eventually you find it like under the bed. Like, how did you get over? Like bounced off 3 walls, and you like managed to find it and come back down.
I still think we should have killed her.
I'll take a bit of rope and make a gag.
Okay.
So she can't cast spells.
If Grandpa agrees with you, Hannibal, then we'll just do it herself.
Well, if you want her to stop casting spells, gagging her, you'll need to do more, because she could still do it like... He waves his hands around a little bit. I could take off her hands for the time being.
We are not cutting off hands. We are not cutting off hands. Let's bind them, and we'll leave it at Hannibal. And I'll quickly take some rope, bind her hands as well.
Okay.
This is so disappointing.
You bind her hand, and as the you can immediately tell that as the anti-air fireballs stop going off, the astral skiffs begin spiraling down and descending into the town and landing at the outskirts. And already, as they're like before they even landing, drop out of your sight from behind these buildings, you can see the gangplanks going down, and Githyanki just like ready to go, jumping down off of them onto the ground.
What do you mean?
I was muted that entire time. For Twitch, I said I have a way to carry around this unconscious person. I pat this leather bag on my side.
You want to put her in that bag?
Oh, don't worry, she'd fit. It's magical. Very magical.
Would she be able to breathe in it?
What did you say, Aja? I couldn't understand you.
Would she be able to breathe in it?
Yes, she would.
Let Drusilla and Reggie both make an Arcana check on that one.
Natural 20.
Fuck.
That's a 14 from me.
Drusilla, no, not even a little bit. If that is an extra dimensional space, there is no way that woman would be breathed. She would suffocate in 10 minutes.
Well, Hannibal, while the bag is a good idea, maybe we should wait for it. It would be better to put her in there.
When she's dead, and I can harvest her body and use it for parts to make things.
There are plenty of other dead bodies around here.
I'm going to carry her. That's what we're going to do.
Okay. So I was carrying the wizard. What she was.
Are there any bodies around?
Oh, yeah. It looks like there was several people that were like defending this building before it got hit with whatever, just completely collapsed it, just sprawled out on the ground. Some Gith, a lot of not.
I take
a lot of like humanoids.
I shimmy one of the Gith bodies into my bag.
Wow.
So you see Hannibal just like take this bag and open it, and then just start just like feeding it along the body of this Gith, and in some sort of terrifying, macabre Mary Poppins moment, just to like, bag's probably only about like this deep, but like as he shimmies it along the body, you can just see it vanish into the bag.
The hell?
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I worked on this, after our graduation.
Later.
I made my own bag of holding. And I close it.
Okay. As you're standing there doing this, recovering your boomerang, deciding what to do with the woman, you can see the Gith forces starting to make short work of the defenders and moving their way in closer and closer and closer. It looks like you were pretty much in the center. Reggie would have been able to identify this is about the center of town. So as you come in, as they get closer and closer and approach, you can see like people that have surrendered are being gathered up, and Gith forces are moving in. They're searching and looking around. For the most part, it seems like the conflict is for the most part over. And that is when out of the crowd you see a somewhat bloodied but more just annoyed looking Grantar come out of the crowd, and he has almost the first time since you've met him, you Hannibal, but everybody else. He has his cape, that long cape that he keeps covered over himself, thrown back over his shoulders. You can see he's wearing that very strappy traditional Githyanki armor, but like every inch of it, it's like studded leather basically, but the studs are gemstones in the keeping with Githyanki's tradition, their tendency to just be very opulent. And he's holding out that very, very large, curved greatsword, silver greatsword that he keeps on his back. And he appears to have taken like what appears to be either a shirt, a pair of pants, some kind of clothes off somebody killed, and he's wiping blood from the blade as he comes towards you, and he sheathes it on his back and then pulls his cape more around himself. And he finds you and says, good. Glad to see you survived. We got separated when the two halves of the ship became separated. How did you fare?
Very well.
We did.
I saw
Stop
casting
the,
spells.
those casting the missiles.
One at a time.
Oh, Reggie, please.
Okay. We managed to You guys should find and stop the wizard, and I point back at the old woman that was casting the missiles at the ship.
Excellent. Very resourceful. Yes, it seems that I noticed that once those stopped, our Air Force were able to come in and make short work of the rest of it, as it should have been to begin with.
She's still alive in case you want to interrogate her later.
Yeah, he looks at where you point and he just pauses for a moment and just says, "Well done. Very well done. Very, very well. It seems actually like taken aback by this and like surprised by your initiative and capability." And he says, It was wise to bring you. You were a significant asset in this assault. You will be duly compensated.
Why do I feel like
Rewarded.
we're the bad people right now?
What do you mean?
I just have a very bad feeling about these people that were killed, is all.
Hannibal, if you've been experimenting on them, would you have thought twice about it?
No. That's why I have a body in this bag right here. And I pat the leather satchel that I've turned into a bag of holding.
There you go. Don't think much on it. These raids help supply us, as well as keeping us sharp for any conflicts we have with the Illithid en masse.
Aja will begin to speak, and then she'll stop.
But who were these people, Mr. G?
Sorry, what did you say?
So, who were these people, Mr. G?
I don't know. A town, prosperous enough one with weak enough defenses, so we thought, and he looks over at the woman again, to be worth a raid.
And who decides that?
The Lich Queen herself. This is a small one. Unfortunately, I could not bring you on a sizable raid. There were none occurring around this time. I would love for you to see our dragon riders in action.
What will become of this one?
I will hand her off, and she will be brought back, and to our home, not to the Enclave, but to our true home in the Astral Sea.
To what end?
Not one of my deciding. But you have done very well today. We are searching through the city, but I think it's in order for some compensation, some reward based on what we find, to grant you some measure of advantage in your travels to come. My confidence in you has never been higher. I'm very proud of all of you. Now.
How do you feel about that? Ugh.
Now. You may wait here. He snaps his fingers and gestures, and a couple soldiers come over, and he looks to Aj and he says, "They will take her off your hands. You no longer need to concern yourself with her."
I suggested we cut off her hands in case she can cast spells that aren't verbal.
We are not cutting off her hands.
I am with Aja on this one. There may be some use to her, and cutting off her hands will diminish that.
We could give her hook hands.
I suppose we could, Hannibal. And this will take the wizard from you. He says, "If you'll just wait here for a moment, we'll see what skiffs we can what we can find, and we'll take one and return home. You deserve some rest and some time to do research and determine where you would like to go on your first venture outward into the world."
I has an idea very much, yes.
I need to go venture out, or I need to go and coordinate. Our command structure is in shambles, but you wait here. I'll be ready to return us home shortly.
I'm going to wait till he walks away before speaking again.
Okay. Yeah, he leaves, and you guys are left pretty much alone. It looks like these were like steps up to the front of this building. Like it may have been some kind of important gathering hall or something. But,
I'm gonna gesture to the other.
You're left for the most part alone.
Okay, I'm gonna gesture to the other three. I think we should step in here for a moment and get some privacy. I have something I think we need to talk about regarding Grantar and the rest of everyone.
Wordlessly, Aja will just walk in.
Reggie will look confused for a second, but walking behind them.
Drusilla will follow.
Okay. I look around, make sure like no one's like else is nearby, like listening or anything.
Yeah, no, you're pretty well left alone at this point.
I have a feeling these people were innocent. I'm having a very strong sort of feeling in my gut, and I usually trust my gut, and my gut is usually not wrong. That said, I'm all for maiming and hobbling innocent people. I'm not for killing innocent people. You know, for the pursuit of science, I'm okay with mostly anything, but not murder and, devastation like this. And I have a feeling that we're all on the wrong side a little bit. Thoughts, everyone else?
Where I come from, raids like this were not terribly common, not to this scale of devastation, but my tribe took what we needed, but only when we needed it, never for the glory of sport or slaughter. This does not sit well with me.
No.
In a very residential way, and I don't mean about the hooks or the creepy stuff. I agree with Hannibal.
Feels wrong.
Perhaps we can use this opportunity that's coming up to get away from this.
Kill Grantar, and eventually hopefully one day joins the Lich Queen's army and kill her as well. So we can stop this from happening.
As much as I would love to see that pretentious expression wiped off Mr. D's face for good, he doesn't deserve to die either.
Well, I think he does. He's part of all this.
And so are we.
Reluctantly, not of our choosing, I don't imagine. Maybe where we were taken from, we're also subjected to these raids, and that's how we're, what we are now.
I don't want to believe that.
I've been around in this enclave for a while, and I just have a feeling, and I trust my gut. So we could assassinate Grantar when we go back to the enclave, sneak into his room, and just give him poison or something, poison his food. I could probably try to concoct some sort of poison. I can put acid in his food. I have vials of acid on me right now.
I don't think that's wise, Hannibal.
They were equipped for something like that.
Grantar strikes me as someone who is well protected. This project is important. I don't think he's going to be allowed to be the victim of simple food poisoning.
Well, I'm not saying we do it now, maybe. I say we do it when we're a little more adept at this whole killing thing. And maybe when we're all a little more experienced in the arcane. I've been practicing on my own as well. And maybe one day, perchance, we can figure out a way to end this without putting others in danger, and the other squads, or get the other squads to rally up with us.
You think it'll take the time?
Do you think perhaps these illithid things maybe? As well?
No, Hannibal knows about the illithid, right?
Yes, and you would actually be aware of the history of the Gith and the illithid. The whole reason that the Gith hate them so much is because the illithid enslaved the Gith.
Yeah, okay, so...
Never mind.
So, no, the Illicits aren't great either. They are these aberration creatures, tentacles, and weird purple flesh. They look like walking octopi, if you know what an octopus is. They look like that, and they like to eat brains. And the
I
whole
don't know
reason...
about the
So,
octolates that you have described, but I do know about the enemy of your enemy can sometimes be your
this is
friend.
very true as well. All I know is the Gith hate the Illithid because they enslaved the Gith.
Wait a minute. And I will reach for that vial again. Is this one of their pets?
Yes, it is.
Hannibal,
So,
Huh.
I do agree that we could possibly, if we do find an Illithid, we could contact the Illithid and try to give them the inner workings of the Enclave and where certain access points are in the Enclave, where Grantar is in the Enclave. And if we side with the Illithids, that could definitely maybe help us and the other squads get out of this terrible situation and collapse this whole terrible thing.
I mean, we're going to be sent out into the world. We can find allies that doesn't get us.
So that's what I mean. We find the Illithid when we get on the hunt to find one, and we somehow get it to contact its sort of... Would Hannibal know about Elder Brains or no?
Yeah, because like you would.
Okay, yeah.
You guys would have been trained a little bit in like knowledge of them in order to hunt them. So yeah.
So I think we could, find an Illithid, get it to be a friend of ours, or at least a reluctant ally like Reggie is to me, and we could sort of get this Illithid to relay a message to its Elder Brain, and we could have a whole army of Illithid come to the Enclave and just wipe it out and end these whole barbaric sort of missions.
It sounds like we're all agreed that this path of going out into the world and being more agents of Mr. G's destruction is not what any of us are willing to do.
As much as I like destruction and mayhem and cutting things to pieces, this is a little too much for me. I don't want to kill innocent people.
And perhaps we should go out into the world and see what it is we can learn and do and help where we can. Build our knowledge.
And go find an Illithid.
I'm sure there are plenty of other people that don't like Gith all that much. They could help us as well.
Agreed. What do you think, Drusilla?
I think if we're going out into the world, we could just go home. Just never come back, forget this all happened. Live our lives normally.
Would it come for us?
Yes, I has a feeling they would come for us and kill all the people that we cozy on up with. And I'm not too keen on going back to my people, as you can see.
Well, you could come with me. There's a place in the forest.
I don't want to live in a forest. I miss the ocean.
What if burn down the forest to find you?
You almost burnt it down to burn.
The idea of needing the gift to the people who care about that.
We could.
Are you interested?
Perhaps we can ask Gruntar if we can be clever about it. What happens? Surely this has happened before, where people leave us bad. We can ask what happens to them. Find out if running is viable.
That's a good idea.
As long as we're subtle about it.
Well, when we talk to Granta, we should mention that we want to go somewhere also where we can sort of find out more about the Gith than this whole thing itself. I think we're not being let on. We're not being given certain details, and I want to know if there's been other civilizations like this one that has just been devastated of innocent people, and see if, because I'm getting a feeling the Gith are very genocidal with what's going on. And I will.
We can certainly be placed within some center of learning. That seems something he would believe is genuine.
And we could like go underground and look for underground cities, like deep underground cities. I have a feeling we could find certain valuable information there, especially for our tentacled friends we want to ally ourselves with.
The Underdark?
In time, perhaps. We can speak of this to no one.
No.
If any of the other quads found out, they might think it's a way to elevate themselves if they turned us in.
Turn us in for a pat on the head.
Or they just kill us.
We can say nothing either way. So we'll go back. We'll find out what we can from Gruntar about things. Perhaps Reggie and Hannibal can find us a place of learning. Our first forays.
I do better on my own, I think, with that. It's not that I hate everyone here, I just think it'd be best if I keep up the facade that I hate you all and just, you know.
All right, then. Reggie can work on that problem independently as well, for the sake of the facade.
Yes, the facade.
Okay.
This is a bit incongruous, I have to say. Can I make an insight check for, like, is Hannibal being genuine about his distress?
I'll say go ahead, yeah.
Like, what distress? Like, about what just happened and everything?
Yeah, I guess I'm interested in, like, you don't mind hurting and maiming and killing, but, like, mass destruction seems to bug you a good bit.
Like, was it, like, the sake of science he's okay with it? But not like this?
Or is this deception setting us up for something? 14.
Okay.
I'm not gonna roll anything. Okay. He is 100% genuine about. Okay. He's fine with maiming and like hobbling things, like cutting off pieces they don't need. He considers important pieces like legs and feet and arms and earlobes and hair and noses and eyes. Anything that wouldn't kill something, he's okay with taking. But he isn't like. He's not down with killing innocent people. He likes killing things, like, if they deserve it, but in a sense, especially in, like, mass murder and whatever this whole display was, he was not cool with, even though he joked about killing the old lady wizard. Yeah.
Okay.
As you guys are finishing up this talk, you do hear, you can see a skiff comes down and lands in like the town square that's in front of this building. It's like a big open area. And the skiff comes down and lands in that area, and you can see Grantar making his way back over towards you.
Oh, wait, I think we should get out of here and go meet up with him again.
Can I make a quick look around for the old lady wizard?
The soldiers took her, and she's out of your sight. You don't know where she went.
Okay.
Okay, so he makes his way over. He's kind of like looking around for you. Doesn't spot you guys inside the building immediately.
Grand Tower over here.
He comes in. He leans in through the window. Skiff has arrived. Is there anything else you needed to do, or shall we leave?
One question before we go. Has there ever been? We were wondering. There were some students earlier before everyone else met me on the Enclave. Long time ago. Not really long time ago. But there's some people I don't see anymore at the Enclave. What happens if they go off on their own little thing and don't come back to the Enclave? Like, they will just go home and stay at their homes.
Well, that's never happened before. You are among the first generation of your kind. There have been none before you. The Enclave was founded for
That's right.
you entirely. So other Gith are free to pursue what they will.
I wondered, Grantar, the classmates of ours who we informed you about were in distress. What would have happened if they had, instead of being captured, had run away?
They would have been tracked down and found and brought back.
Yeah.
Luckily, that it did not come to that.
That's what I
You
thought.
must have powerful means in place to prevent such things.
Oh, indeed, yes. Same as that we were able to find all of you to bring you to the Enclave 2 years ago, despite a few of you not being, well, despite one of you not being in the place exactly where you should have been.
I see. Well, shall we return?
Indeed. I've spoken to the others. They are cataloging the bounty that we gained from this attack, and your reward will be provided before you leave and venture out. Things need to be divided.
Sounds good, Faza.
He gestures you to enter onto the ship.
Yep.
On the ship.
Make way towards the ship.
Okay. All right, you guys can board. It'll take off and fly into the astral plane again. Probably more awkward, quiet ride back, I'm guessing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just a quiet ride back, flying through the astral plane again. You get that fading sensation as the material plane fades in, the astral sea fades away, and you come down and land in the skiff landing field. As you come down, Grantar says, well, seems at this point that your only next thing you need to worry about is where you're going to be starting off in your endeavors to pass your initiation.
Cities.
Let me know if you need any assistance in researching.
I'd like to get more information about cities of the Underdark.
That will be a bit more challenging, but I can assist you with that, yes.
Wunderbar.
Perhaps you could also tell us about centers of learning above grid as well.
Centers of learning.
And
Yes. Put together some information for that. Yeah, come. Find yourselves a meal. One will be provided for you, and then you can. Resource will be given, and you'll be able to do whatever research you need. Priority is to be given to you to make sure to have you the pick of the litter, so to speak. You've done me good today. This deserves rewarding.
Thanks.
Thank you.
He says, now, in the meantime, I'm going to go get cleaned up. Enjoy your time to rest. Enjoy your food, and then let me know where you'd like to leave to. And he's going to head off back towards his big old pyramid.
I think we should be very
So
careful.
you guys can.
We should be very, very careful. Are we all in agreement about where this is going?
Yes.
Reggie?
yes, I believe so.
Drusilla?
All right, so
Right.
All right.
if any of you betray us, I'll kill you in your sleep. And I'm going to walk back towards my lab.
Okay. So yeah, you can rest up, you can eat, and the next part is gonna be basically you guys doing some research and trying to figure out where you want to go to. So we can kind of speed through that. You guys are researching. What kind of questions are you investigating for you to pick your first spot, your first place to land, effectively?
Definitely what Hannibal asked Grantar. Cities of the Underdark.
Cities of the Underdark. Okay. They are not terribly familiar with many of them. The Underdark is difficult to get to at best.
Yeah.
just because it was their normal flying means of getting there. There is there's a forest north or on the continent of Ulrundar. There's a forest on the northern end of the Dragonspine Mountains that they're aware has a very large drow presence in it.
Fantastic.
And they're fairly certain there is an Underdark entrance there, and that it's probably a mixture of Underdark and just deep woods. So that would be probably.
That's what Hannibal would be looking into then.
Okay. Reggie, as we're looking at centers of learning.
Yeah, academies and is there any kind of bard academies?
Sorry, what was that? You broke up a little bit.
Sorry, are there any kind of bard academies?
Bard academies. There is one. Bard specifically, you would know that there's a school that teaches medicine, magic, and the arts over also on the continent of Ulrundar. There's a strange there's a city that was up until recently referred to as the Imperial City. There was an empire that was kind of a failure. Its attempt to conquer the continent, but it did have a city at the center of it that was the center of trade that has recently been conquered by the nation of Galden and connected through a portal to its to kind of the heartland of this country. And the two of them, like, it's kind of two separate cities, but they're connected by a portal, so they're kind of two halves of the same city. And in the Galden half of the city, there is an academy known as the Dawnweaver Academy. For other schools of learning, there is, for magic and other things specifically, on the side of the ocean you guys are on currently, there is a nation called Iolith that is essentially the birthplace of the study of magic. When you refer to the schools of magic, like conjuration and things like that, conjuration, necromancy, evocation, that sort of thing, those refer to specific institutions, ancient institutions in Iolith that separated magic into those schools of study. Like there is the school of necromancy, the first school of enchanting, the first school of evocation there that thought to first break it up into thinking of it as these different subsets of magic. Aside from, sorry.
Is there like a main kind of academy that like teaches a wide variety of knowledge?
Yes.
For now.
The Imperial City that was connected to the Dawnweaver Academy of the art of magic and the arts also is home to a larger and more general varied academy in it. That is, like I said, much more general knowledge as well as magic.
That would make sense for an outfit since they like feed on people's brains and knowledge, right?
Potentially. Also possibly very well protected. But either way, a lot of information in that region if that's what you're looking for. There's a nation called Estorada that is a magicracy. That is basically magical power is political power in this region, and that would be a place if you're looking for a place of study. That would be another potential. And the largest city in the world is one called Pyre, which is in what's called the Ark Covenant, which is an entire covenant of 4 nations. Iolith, the one that has the original schools of magic, is part of it. And then Pyre is just the largest city in the world. It has academies. It has pretty much everything. The Imperial City is rapidly catching up to it as the largest city, but it's second place. But that was one that specifically had the Bard School and the General Purpose Academy.
So Pyre is the largest center for just everything.
Yeah, it's a very, very old city. It's like a Rome kind of. Like it is ancient, like it is over a millennium old, and just huge and sprawling, filled with history.
Yeah, well, a city that large, if there's not an oath, there's definitely going to be owls or something like that.
And then again, the other like its counterpart on the other side of the ocean is the one, the Imperial City, which is attached now to the nation of Galden to the south, which has a secondary city that's very new and growing. So one's like if you took London and very early New York and connected them together by a teleportation circle that like trade flows through to the point where it's practically a street. Then Pyre is closer to like a Rome, like an ancient city that's just continued to be populated for over 1,000 years.
Okay.
And are there any other? And I'll actually, if you guys can let me know where you want to go, that would be great, so I can like prepare that. But if you want to let me know, if you want to take some time and think about it and discuss, feel free. You don't need to necessarily make a decision right now.
My ask is, and this is for you, Sam, where I'm from,
Yes.
I don't want to be anywhere near it.
Okay, so that would be the mountains basically separating the Imperial City and Golden that we're finding, like this Bard School and this other places in. You're kind of from that area.
Just not there.
Okay.
So Pyre might be a good bet then.
Okay. So the giant ancient city of Pyre.
You guys are interested in something else?
I'm still very much interested in the Underdark stuff.
Okay.
Drusilla, do you need to go home? Or check on home?
I would like to make sure that what happened in that city did not happen to my home.
Where's home?
Would I necessarily know where home was, or no, it was a forest?
You would know it's a forest. Yeah, you might not necessarily be able to point it out on a map, though.
Okay. Either home is.
We can ask about cities and forests as we travel, I suppose. That seems the best we can do.
Yeah.
Okay. So settle down the city of Pyre as your destination of choice.
Yep.
Outside of and
Right. Yeah, they're not going to drop you off like in the middle of the city, but they'll bring you there.
Sam, this is a question for you.
Yeah.
Will we be allowed to travel to different cities afterwards?
Yeah, you're basically just let loose into the world, but they seem to be confident they're going to be able to keep tabs on you and know, not necessarily like listening to your conversations and stuff, but like they're kind of letting you loose. And under these, like if you start, you're probably sure if like you start just living a normal life and not gathering allies and power and stuff, they might be like checking in on you occasionally, just be like, what is this? Go, no, you're get moving, go. But other than that, they're not gonna be like spying on you.
So we can still go to the Underdark then.
Yes, yeah. You would have to like charter a ship and go across the ocean, but yeah.
As this is all happening, is this counting as a long rest or no?
Yes. Oh, no, this is taking place over the course of a couple days.
Oh, so long rest.
As you're like
Cool
preparing.
beans.
Yeah, definitely take a long rest.
How do you rule learning new languages? Trying to learn a new language.
I think there's rules in the. Did Xanathar's guide add new rules for that, or is it just in the player's handbook?
No, Xanathar's did.
I'll pull up Xanathar's then and get back to you on what I want to do.
Okay.
What language
we'll look into
cover in Pyre?
Pyre is just common, is very commonly spoken. It's a very huge city that's at a very big nexus point of travel. So common as a very common trade language would be spoken there.
I'm pretty sure we all know common.
Yeah. Probably like every language under the sun is probably spoken there at some point or another. But if you need to just get by, common will do it.
Okay.
All right, so you settle on the city of Pyre. You can probably spend the rest of your time studying and learning about it, and figuring out just kind of what the deal is with that place and where you're going, just to get an idea of what you're going into. And I believe at that point, that is going to be a good place to end the session as I prepare your final leaving the enclave and your first foray into the city of Pyre.
Cool beans. Yeah, and during this whole downtime, I was trying to learn deep speech, but I couldn't find anything in Xanathar's for it.
I think there is like a number of days that you spend working on it, and it you just like
some activities require
work
days,
on it for a number of
or months.
Yeah, we'll look into that. Mark off 3 days. You can just like mark off on a character sheet or note somewhere 3 days towards learning deep speech, and we'll figure that out before next.
It's in the training section of Xanathar's if you look.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
training. That's what I'm looking at. Weird. Oh no, wait.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I don't think you can do it in 3 days either way. So,
because Hannibal would know that's a
But
good
we'll
thing
know
to do.
yeah, definitely. All right. Thank you guys for another exciting episode. I had fun.
Cool.
That started very lighthearted and got kind of dark. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to meta it too much, but I am just curious. It's like just run it off the rails.
Oh, not even a little bit. No.
Cool.
No, like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you're committing atrocities here. Like, I'm fully prepared for you to just want to be like, no, let's just not do that.
Cool. Just curious.
Yep. No,
Here we
I
go.
am
Oh, sorry.
kind of, there's that Wallace and Gromit section where he's like, he's on the toy train. He's like laying the tracks in front of it as it goes. That's kind of me. That also means there's a large degree for you guys. Like, I will follow whatever story you choose to tell. I will follow it. I'm a big proponent of the adage, play to find out what happens.
Dig it.
So it says receiving training in a language typically takes at least 10 work weeks, but this time is reduced by a number of work weeks equal to the character's intelligence modifier. So my intelligence modifier is +2, so I would be 8 weeks to learn deep speech. But it also says it costs 25 gold pieces per work week.
So that's if you have that's if you're like spending hard downtime and like paying for a tutor.
Okay.
Which I think that they're the ones the player's handbook are like you can learn a new tool or language with like 200 some days of just working by yourself.
Yeah.
So we'll see if you want to like take time and hire a tutor, or if you want to just like be trying to learn and get a book and be learning.
I'm saying he's reading through books. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, mark off like 3 days so far, and you can mix and match those two. Like you can, we can figure out a way to meld those two progresses together. Like you can be self-taught, and then if you want to like jump ahead and pay for a tutor, figure out how that all works out.
All right.
But yeah. All right. Thank you for another session again. I very appreciated it. I love the section at the beginning. Everybody hanging out, messing around with a cat,
and attacking a guy in the jungle.
Yeah, and now you don't really have to deal with that. Least of your worries now.
Cool.
No, man.
Yeah.
Let's go get some Mind Flayer allies.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why learning deep speech.
I know. Yeah, no, that'll help. All right, everybody.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Good playing with you guys.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
For sure.
All right.
See you all again next week. Anything last minute things for the channel? Wednesday nights.
I won't be here next Sunday because I.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I don't think there'll be a session next Sunday unless somebody else can stream it.
Yeah. So we're taking a week off because Justin's the one that handles all the technical stuff. I don't know like how to use OBS and stuff. So, that'll give me some extra time to give you a really in-depth prep for like the giant city you're going into, which is good.
Yeah.
A lot of story hooks and fun stuff there because it is the biggest city in the world in a conglomerate of 4 nations united by a common religion.
The Sorcerer King, right?
No, that's where you are right now. This is a completely different section.
Oh.
There's the Arclight Covenant is united under the Church of the Silver Flame.
I'm so excited.
All right. So,
yeah.
no game next week then. Sorry, everybody, but I'll see you 2 weeks from today for your first foray into the city of Pyre.
Dig it.
And yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up.
And you can see me and Sam again on Wednesday for our pirate campaign at 10 p.m. Eastern Time.
Cool.
Check it out. It's lots of fun.
It is lots of fun, especially with what's about to happen this week.
Oh boy.
What happened last week was my friend and I were watching together, and it was pretty fun.
Cool. All right. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody.
You too.
And
We're on.
bye, everybody.
We wait our webcams and say goodbye.
Yep, and ending the stream.